What is up, everybody? I am RenaMarq, your modern Renaissance content creator, your friendly neighborhood content creator, and welcome back to another episode of Per-Sception. We're still in season 3. This is episode 9. And today I have honestly, I cannot thank this person enough. We have been in a group together, and we'll get to that later, but in that group, I've been taught so much by this person. And I've been taught so much on just how to move through this industry, how to be authentic, how to not take no shit, and a lot of charity learnings too, and how to kind of have those and have a lot more knowledge in those. And seeing this person right here just thrive and being able to have the opportunity to learn so much, and now being able to sit and talk with this person right here, a legend. I appreciate her so much. Her pronouns are she, they. I got you. And with that, I am so happy to announce a legend to me, like a mentor, a person that I watch very closely and that has taught me so many things, especially in a time where I didn't know much of shit in this content creation game. PleasantlyTwstd. What's up?
How am I supposed to follow that? Like, what do you mean? I wasn't expecting all of that. Well, because especially, okay, so you have to realize too, there are so many people at this point who do not know my background with, I'll go ahead and say, the cookout and being on the charity fundraising bit.
The fact.
So like, it's interesting seeing over time how my perception for people has really just kind of shifted and changed. Because if you ask anyone who was here back in, oh my God, how long ago was that? How long we been streaming? What was that, 5 years ago? Oh, was that 5 years ago?
Oh my God, that had to be 3 to 4 years ago.
Baseline, because I think I've been streaming for 5. Yeah, people keep track of their stream anniversaries. I don't know how y'all do that, because I'm just like, wait, there's a stream anniversary, and then people are like, now Twitch has a function for it. I was like, please don't do this. I avoided Facebook because I didn't need reminders of that time I said some clown shit. I don't.
Okay.
I don't want it.
Thanks. Please, you said don't. This 10 years ago.
No, I didn't say it 10 years ago. I didn't exist 10 years ago, actually. I am a deity. I don't actually have an age. So you don't know anything about my past because I didn't exist 10 minutes ago. So no, absolutely not. But no, like,
I only exist when I want to exist.
Right.
Don't remind me of shit.
If I don't want to be perceived, it's not gonna happen. But yeah, I did charity fundraising. I was one of the charity fundraising leads. I think I was the charity fundraising lead back at the cookout. And I still charity fundraise. I actually just kicked off a fundraiser for this month. I'm raising money for It Gets Better. Nice. Yeah, I'm raising money for It's Get Better. Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Right. Protect Black trans kids always.
Yes,
and
always.
So like, with that being said, like, I did charity fundraising still. I do it 3 to 4 times a year. It used to be 4 times a year, but like, as I started reducing my streaming and whatnot, it felt more and more like a tug on people. And then on top of all of that, streaming is actually what catapulted me into a ton of stuff. I started out streaming because I hated my job. I worked as a team lead for, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like some car dealership company, but it wasn't a car dealership. We did like all the ugly graphics and stuff. Like, have you ever seen the billboard that has like the very obviously photoshopped car on like an ugly beach, and then like all the sales and legalese and stuff? I used to be one of those people, and I ran the team that did all the graphic design, and I also was the lead graphic designer. And it was brought to my attention very unfortunately. Oh, that's how we can date it. Yeah, I've been streaming for I've been streaming for 7 years. Oh no. Oh, I hate that realization. Because the reason I started streaming,
legend in the game.
Yeah, the reason I started streaming is because my boss back then, that was during is that when Trump got elected? Yes, that's when Trump got
Yeah,
elected.
about 7 years, yeah.
And he got elected 7 years ago. And so I'll never forget, I will never forget, I walked into work, there's a tell for me. Some people have picked up on this, a lot of people don't because it doesn't show all the time, but I'm actually a very vain person. And when it comes to like going out in public, one of my things before the pandemic hit, now it's completely reversed because fuck that noise.
Facts.
I used to be someone that like when I would go to work, I didn't wear a lot of sweatpants and stuff. So like I wear like, you know, a shirt and some jeans at the baseline or something like that. And the tell was always at my job, if Vanessa comes in sweatpants, she is having a bad time. So the day after the election, I came in my Purdue University hoodie because I went to Purdue for my bachelor's and my master's. And I had on my matching Purdue sweats. And I had on some flip-flops. And I mean, I just walked in and I sat down. Both of the employees who directly reported to me was like, hey, are you sure you should be at work? And I was like, I don't have a choice because I am your manager. And then my boss's boss called my phone directly and was like, yeah, I'm going to need you to go ahead and call in black, if that's okay. And I was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, I said what I said. I need you to turn around and walk back out that door. I need you to call in black because I know that you are not doing well today. Please go back home. I will not take this as PTO. I am not going to dock your hours. Just please go home.
Sheesh.
Please go home.
Yeah.
The person who fucked this entire like beautiful moment up was my direct boss because guess who was the fucking Trump supporter?
Ooh.
And that's how I started streaming because I had to get away from talking to that motherfucker. Like he wasn't gonna keep talking to me. I couldn't do it. But I needed money, so I needed to do something to like. I needed something to kind of like break that area of I can't actually punch you in the throat. So guess I'm just gonna not speak to you because I need money. And so I started streaming on Twitch. I found a couple of communities I was chill with because I searched based on game genres. And then that manifested into charity fundraising, ironically, because someone who used to work at Twitch put up a tweet saying, why aren't there more Black people in charity fundraising? And me, being me, went just steamrolling right into that, being like, well, I could talk about that. And I didn't realize it was bait. I got baited. I got jebaited bad. And she was like, you have a lot of really good thoughts about this. Do you want to do a front page panel about this? And I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means. What does that mean? She was like, oh, I'll put you on Twitch front page and you can have like a bunch of Black charity fundraisers and Black this, Black that. And I was like, what?
Why are you just
why are you
me?
What?
Why'd you throw me in the pool? This is
and she did.
Hold on.
Yeah, she threw me like face first in that joint. And so I did a charity fundraiser for Trans Lifeline at the Cookout channel, and we talked about being POC and charity. And it was a great talk. It was my first ever panel. And that was when I was like, holy shit, I think this is what I want to do. That reinvigorated my love for gaming because I originally went to college to do video game character concept designs.
Oh,
and
shit.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so I draw. I loved to draw. I am a very big it's on my desk because of course it is. Oh, my Legos are falling apart.
I know a lot about your drawing. I remember being I remember being in a lot of your Twitch streams and like you're like a defender of devs. Where like when people shit on devs, you're like, hold on. Because like,
so that's what.
Look how long this takes to do. Look how long this takes to do. I think you did. I think especially like Cuphead, when people were like rushing Cuphead DLC, and you were like, "Hold on, motherfuckers," because they draw, they do this hand drawn, and then they animate it. Yep,
they do. I have the Cuphead art book behind me, like I'm actually pointing right at it, and like
that's one of my favorite streams of yours because it was facts.
Well, and see, and that's the thing, like, I didn't realize how analytical about the gaming industry I was. And so, like, my master's is in data analytics. Oh, nice. And, like, there's a timeline where I kind of just gave up on being in gaming because, you know, the industry is kind of all over the place. And then the economy is what we call a fuck. So, like, there was just, like, a whole time period from when I was 23 to literally now where, or not even now, 23 to maybe about 30-ish, where I just kind of figured I wasn't going to be in gaming. And so I got on Twitch, I got into charity fundraising, and then like I would talk about things. You actually hit something very important there for the timeline. I would talk about things like game dev and stuff, and I didn't realize how much I just kind of intrinsically figured out because of the fact that it was like the Cuphead one was a great example.
Right.
People were like, well, why is it this way? Why is it that way? And I was like, you have to understand, those are hand-drawn cells.
Yeah.
This is an old school hand-drawn methodology that came from the late 80s going all the way into early 2000s before we got into a lot of digitized art. And so when you're hand drawing stuff, even when you're looking at things like Disney movies and stuff, and they used to do all of those like individual scenes, that is hours and hours and hours and hours of compiled borderline perfect as possible work, because it's never going to be perfect.
Right.
And so when you come in here and you're like, well, why didn't they just? It just speaks loudly to the fact that you don't have any idea how much effort that took, how much time that takes, how much planning that takes, how much budget that takes.
Right.
Any of those things. And so it kind of branched even more into conversations around broader aspects of dev. The two things that tipped me off that I was doing something right was when, for some reason, we were talking about monetization in gaming. And I started talking about the real money auction house in Diablo 3.
Okay.
And I made this whole thread about how you have to understand sometimes shit does not look bad until it looks bad. Because I can guarantee you when they put that joint on paper, it made a lot of sense. Yeah. And then they put it in execution, and trying to predict how people will behave is an impossible task. You can get close, but you are never going to get it on the mark. Right. And so what happened with the Diablo 3 auction house was they had that very, very evergreen idea of, what if we made a marketplace where people got items that they didn't like or want or need, and they could just kind of put them up for sale for in-game or real life currency. Right. And they were going on a good faith assumption that the community would want to help each other and share with each other and, you know, make like a fair commerce out of it, which isn't unfair. Right. There's plenty of examples of places that have done things like that. I mean, like that's just a real thing. That's a market. That's why that's a market. Right. They did not anticipate that the overwhelming majority of people who would take hold of that would be things like gold farmers. They would be things like people looking to make a quick buck, people who had hours and hours to grind the best item, and then they could put it up there for thousands of real USD dollars. Damn. So like, the marketplace started out as a good idea and got abused pretty much immediately. And when you have something like that that's rolled out and you like sitting there watching it in 4K set itself on fire, you would think it's as easy as grabbing a fire extinguisher. But the fact of the matter is there's a lot of extra bells, whistles, and attachments that are there. A grease fire.
You can't put that out that easy.
Yeah, like you still have to go in and like there's certain stuff that in that fire that you have to still go in and salvage.
Yeah,
so
you gotta turn that gas off. You gotta do your thing. Yeah.
Because otherwise the fire is just gonna keep fucking burning.
Right.
So what wound up happening, that's kind of why Diablo 3 moved over to their season model, because that helped address the problem of the real money auction house and the economy of bad drops along with bad kind of stats that dropped on things. Because when Diablo 3, when it first dropped, you could literally get like monk items that had wizard stats on it, and we were like, bro, what the fuck? Well, and like I literally can't use this, and it's a super rare item. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
Yeah, what the fuck? Okay.
They addressed that problem. They addressed the real money auction house. They addressed all these things with the overarching package of, hey, we're switching to season models. Diablo 3 on season model fucks. It was great. It was wonderful.
Okay.
It was awesome. And I made this whole thread about it, and I had all these dude bros up in my shit being like, this bitch doesn't know what she's talking about, and you're just trying to be this, that, and all the other, and you didn't think about this factor and that factor. And the thing that sent me to orbit was when one of the original Diablo 3 devs retweeted my whole thread and said, this nails the entire problem and you should read it. And I was like, what? Who told you about this? How did you find this? What the fuck? And he was just like, no, your thread is an absolutely excellent breakdown of everything that happened from start to finish with the real money auction house. And that is exactly how it went down. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And so I'm not going to do the second example because that took longer than I wanted. But on top of, I'll just give the preview of it. Yeah. I was playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and I started criticizing the game's story because I played it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And now I play the Legendary Edition. So this is like 10+ year
Yeah,
gap.
that's
So
a
two different people playing it at this
yeah.
point. And I looked and I was like, some of these story arcs fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like I just said that on main, and I was like, the Samara story arc makes me want to eat glass and
It's
punch
actually dog
somebody.
shit. There's only
It's
like a few
fucking horrible.
salvageable. I'm a Mass Effect stan. Like I
Mhm.
played Andromeda twice. So
Nice.
you
I couldn't even
know,
play Andromeda. I've heard that it was terrible, and now that it's like not cool to hate it anymore, people are like, it actually wasn't that bad. People
it's
were just
not.
dramatic.
I fought for it when it was coming out. I was like, yeah, it's not bad. It's definitely not great coming out of the OG like trilogy, but it's not terrible.
Mhm.
I think like the Tali storyline is salvageably okay.
Yeah,
The Garrus
yeah.
storyline is salvageable,
Yeah, there's
and
a
the
couple.
Amanda one, Miranda one. That's like the 3 kind of salvageable joints, maybe.
Yeah, like those were the 3 stories I feel that when I was playing it back, I looked and I was like, I can pull some real life examples into this to make it feel
Right.
like it's not just salvageable, but this is also still relatable. Like
But it
Tali
has
to
a
me when I
foundation. It's
yeah,
right.
yeah, like Tali to me when I played it the second time at a big adult age, I was reading and just going through Tali's story, and I was like, I hate some aspects of this story, but it's because of the aspects that I hate that it feels more accurate. Because
Yes.
Tali to me in the second wave really felt like she felt like the POC of the game because people don't
Yeah.
understand
Right.
the difficulties in
Ooh,
trying
that's
to
a fact.
address problems in your own communities
That's a
while
fact.
also trying to adhere to being a good person, because that's why things like intersectionality and stuff are important, because like Tally was really trying her best in between a rock and a hard place, because if she wanted to do the absolute right thing, she was talking about having to turn her back on like the majority of her culture.
Right.
And that hurts to even think about. And it's like, but that's my culture.
And even
So you have
deciding to like jump on the ship and people not wanting her to be on the ship, you're like, oh, why is she on the ship? Yeah. Yeah.
like that was really, really like, it was hard to deal with, but I like afterwards, I was like, but that feels really, really like in place for being a Black person, being a queer person, because people are just
Right.
like, oh, why don't you drop XYZ? I'm dealing with that right now. Like my sister's getting married in August,
Oh, yeah.
and people are like, well, why don't you just? And it's like, it's not as easy as just, because if I curse out someone at this wedding, the entire family is going to have their foot sideways up my ass.
Yep.
I can't
you'll
do
be to
that.
ruin it. You're done. This, that, yeah, it'll go overboard.
I can't
Yeah.
do stuff like that. And it's the kind of the same thing. I had a TikTok about this. Danny Launders, the dev for Validate, was talking about people who are non-Black criticizing Black celebs. And I was like, no, I'm gonna take it further. Oftentimes I don't even deal with that because of the fact that like y'all don't understand like how it will fuck the flow of everything up if we try to go and attack some of these things. I could talk all day about how Oprah Winfrey's a motherfucking problem. I could talk all day about how Nicki Minaj is a motherfucking problem. But the reason why we have not went and rinsed these people for filth is because it's like, you have to remember, when one Black person fucks up, that means the entire Black community fucks up. We don't have the luxury of like our white peers where when, one of them fuck up, y'all can isolate it and say, oh, but that was just him. That doesn't mean it was all of us.
Right.
We don't get that. And that was the kind of,
yes.
And that was the problem that Tali had, because she's just like, it is not as easy as me denouncing my entire fucking community. I have to do these things. And if you want me to actually migrate and do things better, these are the steps we have to follow. And that carried through even more with 3, when she was literally about to like take you out, because if you wanted to save the Geth, she's like, you've lost your fucking mind. These are the things that killed my entire fucking race.
Right.
This is the reason I'm wearing a suit. And it's like, nah, dog, that's relatable content, though. Like, I feel that. But the Samara story can eat fucking ass. Like, the Samara story actually can eat ass. That was awful. So we already got into it. It was so bad. And so I'm sitting here on Twitter tearing this motherfucking storyline up. I was like, I can't even believe how absolutely inflammatory, insensitive, outrageous both of you bitches need your asses beat. And a fucking BioWare dev was sitting here liking this thread. I was like, I can't tweet no more, y'all. I can't. I'm deleting the whole thing.
Clean it up.
I'm deleting it. I didn't say anything mean at all. I love Mass Effect. It's my favorite game. So yeah, that's like my entire career in a nutshell though.
I love,
Is I I just I kind of speak from my heart about stuff when I want to, obviously.
of course.
And then like at that point, a lot of things just kind of like followed in place with that.
Mhm.
And I was just like, I don't know what's happening, but okay, sure.
We're just
So
gonna
like
roll with
that,
that. Yeah.
yeah, so that like put me on a trajectory to get out of like I found a different job just to find a different boss that I hated. And then
I know
I
that life.
left that job to go work at Tiltify. And so I've worked in the charity sector for 2 years as
Yeah.
well. And then they let me go April of last year. And that was also about 2 weeks later when I got my first interview with Crystal Dynamics because I put it out on Twitter that I was looking for work. I got everything figured out, got like all the like bells and whistles and loose ends done with Tiltify. I put it out on Twitter. I was like, hey, I'm looking for work. I'm currently looking for my next opportunity. Here's all my skills. And someone drops off a thing on my thread saying, hey, it's a stretch, but I think you'd be an awesome community manager.
Yeah.
You should
Oh,
go
a
ahead and
thousand
apply
percent.
here. You should apply here. And it was for Crystal Dynamics. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I applied and I got the interview. And then because of the Embracer deal and all that, things got delayed severely.
Mm.
But then I got the job and I was like, I don't know what happened here. How am I working in the gaming industry? And then I went back to go look and I was like, how did that even land on my timeline? The person who put that post and recommended I apply worked at Crystal Dynamics. This motherfucker had been a follower of mine for 2.5 years and was like, I fucking love your content. And then I discovered that like 5 Crystal employees were following my fucking
Go,
account. And I was like,
go,
have y'all just been
let's
watching me this
go.
whole time? And they're like, we're so happy you're on the team. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is going on? Like Rennie or Renoa, who does like a bunch of Final Fantasy 14 content, she's just like, I can't wait to start working with you. And I'm like, what? What? I
That's
just been on
dope.
the internet. I just like talk shit and I just like post things. But like what's really
Right.
funny is that kind of manifested for some people into the idea that I am a very like angry person. And I was like, oh no, I'm like a class clown.
Yeah. Come on
I
now.
literally just drink and fuck off. Like I
Yeah.
don't
Like you, yeah, no, you really are like you really are like a drink and be merry person. Like if anyone really like sat and talked with you, like they'd be like, yo, you are one of the coolest, chillest, funny people in ever. And I,
yeah,
but
I just post up.
that's what
I'm
I'm
just
saying.
there.
Like, and I think that really poses to just like your trajectory and like your story, how it poses to your just being genuine and being authentic
Mhm.
in yourself and in this space and not giving a flying fuck who thinks of what about you as you grow, right?
Mhm.
And that's why like that's such an important tell because and that's such an important story because a lot of people now like now from like back then to now
Mhm.
the game got fucked up. It got fucked up. The game got fucked up.
It
Like, and my question to you is, how did like from staying authentic and from staying genuine, but being in this industry, not only in the game industry, as a as a in two careers, you're in the content creation and gaming industry, and you're in the gaming industry as like
Mhm.
career on both ends, right?
Mhm.
In seeing the roller coaster of how content creation has been going up and down because it's a lot of fake stories and we have to do this and we have to be problematic, we have to do this, 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 and people aren't recognize people think that being problematic is growth now versus
it
being authentic and
I
genuine. So
was
like for you, how do
I
you see that?
wasn't gonna cut you off, but I was gonna stop you and be like, you could just say it's a lot and put a period there.
You're right.
Like that's it is so much.
It's a
So we were
lot.
talking about this a little bit in the
It's a
pre-show.
lot.
It is so much. Like one
Right.
of the things that we were talking about, and I can elaborate on.
Yes.
As I mentioned, I have my Twitter, and that Twitter account peaked at 12.6 thousand followers.
Mhm.
And when I hit that point, is when I realized very quickly that I have never once been here to be popular. I
Mm,
have never really been here to be like someone who is going to be all over and plastered all over things, and I've never really been one to be here who's just like, I need to be part of every activation now, 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 now.
right.
I literally just love video games.
That's a fact.
I literally
That's the passion.
I
I see
literally
the
just
couple
love
of those.
video games. I love talking about Sonic the Hedgehog and like the deep cursed lore of Sonic the Hedgehog that I've had from since like 1992, which is very weird, but you know, that's the one that got me. So I
I'm
love
with you.
talking about that. I love talking about Darkest Dungeon. I love talking about game dev, game design.
Right.
I like talking about activism, but I kind of also realized I did not like talking about activism with people who did not care about it, who don't care about it, because
Just you felt like he was just
12.6k,
yelling in the void.
yeah, because
Mm.
12.6k followers made me realize there were a lot of people there who were there so that they didn't look racist.
Oh yeah. Okay, I can see
And
that.
then there was
Yeah.
and there was a lot of people
Hmm.
there who were there to keep me specifically at arm's length
Oh
and just
yeah.
make sure that like if something popped off, they could have like a direct feed as needed. And so it just kind of got to that point where I was like, but I didn't really come here for any of this.
Real. My mom
And I
has a
just kind
quote.
of,
My mom has a quote where she said, "Being popular is just to give people an excuse to be in your business." So,
yeah.
hmm,
And like,
I feel
I
that.
don't, I didn't talk about things like George Floyd shootings and being black on Twitch. And I don't drag Twitch for filth because I think it's funny or fun or a thrilling adventure. I
Right.
drag them for filth because I want them to be a better platform.
A thousand
And a
percent.
lot of people will say, "Oh, well, we're on the same wavelength." And I regret to inform some of y'all that no, y'all not.
Talk
No, you're
about it.
not.
Talk
Because
about it.
I've never, like, I'll never forget there was a point where things kind of blew up and someone made an accusation of me that I am only here to cater to white people. And I remember just reading that and being like, I don't even know how we got to this point because what is that supposed to
They
mean?
got you
And the
absolutely fucked up.
reason
They got you
And the
absolutely
reason
fucked
that
up.
they said that I was catering to white people is because I would actually be willing to point out silver linings about when Twitch would do stuff. Because let it be known and clear, Twitch still 4 years later fucking sucks at their yearly observances. Like the fucking AAPI one they just did,
God.
I literally saw that and I was like, I just can't believe that we're this far along and y'all are fucking up that bad still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't fathom it, but I can, but I can't. And I guess what I mean is I don't want to because what the ever living
Every
fuck.
February, we get seen less and less on that damn platform. So,
And the thing is,
like,
and people got angry because I would point out how you cannot make progress without making mistakes. You
that's a
can't
fact.
do it.
That's
You
a
cannot
fact.
make progress without making mistakes. You have to try things in order to see what works. And unfortunately, you are going to, at some point,
Slip up.
guaranteed,
Yeah.
you're going to try something and it's going to be boo boo turds. And you are definitely going to hear about it. And it is at that point that you have to decide, okay, moving forward, how do we keep this incident from happening again?
That's a fact. That's a
That's what
fact.
you have to do. And a lot of people do not want to have that full conversation. They just want to yell. And it's like, be angry. I'm never going to police you from being angry. I'm never going to be that person.
Facts.
But some of y'all don't know how to make that anger into purpose. And
Mm.
that is why I made it a point to be like, I am glad that they keep trying stuff, but by God, I am just impressed that it keeps getting worse. Like,
Right. Right. It's
I
it's
just don't
getting. There's
understand.
no
And
progress.
yeah, but they are at least still trying something. And I feel like that is still much better than what a lot of people lean into, which is doing nothing. Because over at Crystal, I just did our first major Black History Month activation.
Nice.
This was with 28 Days of Black cosplay every single day.
Oh, that's
This is
dope.
working with content creators. This is working with Tomb Raider fans.
That's
I did a
dope.
panel where I got people on there and we paid them to be on there. And we just
What?
talked about Black joy. Like I made that a point out the box. I was like, I
Oh,
am
that's
not going to pull you on
cool.
here. Yeah, I'm not going to pull you on here to talk about representation in gaming. I'm not
Right.
going to pull you on here to
Yeah.
talk about how you struggle as a Black dev. We're going to kick it for an hour. I'm going to pay you money and I'm going to make sure it's decent money. I'm going to pay you an hour to just sit
go.
here. We're just going to gush about being a black fucking dev. Let's go. And everyone loved it that showed up because like we talked about our upbringing. We talked about like what got us into our nerd cultures. Jay Justice was there talking about how her first comic was The Punisher. And we had Zaire there talking about like her background working at Naughty Dog and working on Subnautica and all this other stuff.
So
and then we did stuff with Morgan Gray. And he's like, yeah, I've been here for like longer than some of you have been alive. And I'm like, damn, dog, why you got to call out our ages like that? We already old. We don't need to be decrepit. And like he's talking about how he's worked on Star Wars titles and like all of his favorite moments. And I wanted that panel and I wanted that conversation. And I did all that for the full month. Your bitch was exhausted because I was doing that. I was doing GDQ black activations for Unapologetically Black and Fast. I was doing Next Fest. I was doing all types of shit, trying to grab as many fucking black people being like, hey, let's do stuff that's like not asking us for labor and pain all the time.
Yes.
And then I looked up.
God.
And then I looked up and I'm doing my post-mortem of my like full activation. And I'm like, damn, there's only like 5 gaming companies that did something. The fuck? You didn't even try. Like you couldn't even put out a smooth, don't get me wrong, putting out something like a banner or whatever is super low-hanging ass fruit.
Yeah.
Super low-hanging fruit. But you didn't even do that? You didn't even do that? Like, dog, what the fuck? So that's why I make it a point to point out those things that it's like, I would much rather people try and fuck up than just be like, oh, well, I might fuck up, so guess I'm not going to try at all. And that apparently meant that I was catering to white people. And I looked and I was like, I don't know what to do with that information. And that was kind of like the starting point where I realized, yeah, I'm not here to really be popular.
Yeah,
I really just want to like talk about video games, have fun. And I want to try and make this place better for more like black devs, period, before I have to leave this accursed fucking rock. And
facts.
And like, that's all I wanted to do all along. So like the constant need to be making posts, the constant need to be on activism mode, the constant need to be fighting motherfuckers, the constant need to always be posting, take every activation you can. And I hit that point and I was like, let me actually pull all this together in a different way. I have a merch store. No one buys anything from it. Shocking, I know. I have a merch store. And there's an item I have in there that was a quote that I made probably about 4 years ago, where all of this was happening and people were like, it was another wave of so-and-so got a thing and I didn't, blah, blah, blah issues. And I looked and I was like, you know, a lot of y'all need to step back and just work on your content. You need to work on your content because while there is a conversation to be had about people who absolutely hoard deals and then insist that they need to have every deal that comes to them under the sun ever because something to struggle, we could talk about that in a different episode. Some of y'all abuse activism language and we're not going to fucking keep shying from it. But
okay. We can talk about it.
But like, some of y'all spend all of your energy just going out fighting, thinking that it's a fun time. Fighting for stuff is not fun. Fighting for stuff is very soul draining and exhausting. But then on top of that, you have to figure out what you want your goal and your content to be. And when I realized that my goal and my content was, I wanted just a nice, cozy community where people could feel welcome and safe and could just get away from the fucking qualms of the world, always being there like, so have you considered that we want to kill gay people? Have you considered that we think black people are animals? My goal is to make a space where it's like, you know what? We respect that that's a thing that's happening. We can have those conversations offline. But when I hit start streaming, this is the space where we're all going to just fucking have some tea, get you a gummy, do what you got to do, get your bowl. Listen, I live in Denver, and at this point, people are just open about it in my channel. I literally have somebody who walks to my stream every single time, and they're just like, hey, PT, what's up? And they'll put off like this whole little paragraph of stuff, and it's never a problem. But then they'll follow that, be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's just, I am so fucking baked right now. And I'm just like, I just love how forthcoming you are about it, that you're just like, yeah, I'm fucked up. And I'm just like,
I'm just here. Like,
you know what? I'm happy for you. I like, love that for you. But that's how I kind of started learning to navigate it. And so I came to the conclusion that I wanted to be on Twitter less because it just didn't do anything but make me tired and piss me off. Still does.
Facts.
Still does. And then I just kind of started focusing much more in on what's the stuff that I like doing and how do I do better at it. And so, especially once I got the job at Crystal, I really, really had to buckle down on that because I'm just like, I could go back to making scathing threads about why old girl who shit on that BuzzFeed article was ugly and we need to actually
What
say
the
that plainly.
fuck was that about? I'm like, what the that shit
But
had
yeah,
it
that
went
was
in
ugly.
sham. That was a what the fuck?
That was extra ugly. But
I was
like
like, yo, what the
you could have just left that in the drafts. But like I've made these threads before. I've had this conversation
not
before.
everybody deserves the
And
internet, I tell you.
yeah, I've had this convo before. I've made this thread before. So instead of going in and being like, I got to go make a 20 tweet long thread about why this is a problem, I'm just going to make the 3 tweet long thread that says, you're ugly for this. And then I'm going to go back and eat my food. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Because I have so many other things that I am focused on and interested in. I am so much more interested in doing things like I'm looking at the Darkest Dungeon wiki right now because I used to work on the wiki and now Darkest Dungeon 2 is out. And so I'm entertaining the very dangerous and unhealthy thought of, but what if I worked on the Darkest Dungeon 2 wiki? I know I ain't got no time at all. I know I have no freedom to do so. I know I'm still studying bosses, but what if I logged in and started working on some of these pages? But like, I would much rather dedicate my energy and efforts to that than whatever the fuck I was doing like in years 1 through 2, like dead ass. And like, while I am understanding of years 1 through 2 as what actually kind of started stuff off, because that's how I met the Twitch person.
Right.
That's how I met people like Milady Confetti. That's how I met a lot of the like big people in the space and got to start working with them. At the end of the day, like, my intention was never ever to be like, I want to be a monolith of all things activism. Girl, no, I am tired.
Yeah.
Like,
You want to focus
you
on
want
your
to know
joy.
what I want to do?
Yeah.
I want to do things like the Darkest Dungeon wiki. I want to see more Black people in like activations for game devs. I want to challenge the gaming industry and be like, y'all keep saying that bringing Black people into stuff is hard. Yet here's me with approximately, let's see, I got hired in August and it is June, 10 months of experience. And I have somehow managed to hire 3 Black people to do some content. I have somehow managed to showcase I've somehow managed to showcase 28 individual different Black people for fucking cosplaying. I have somehow managed to talk to the creator. I've somehow managed to talk to the creator of 28 Days of Black Cosplay, Miss Chaka Cumberbach. Oh my God, that interview was so fun. It was so fun because it was just 2 Black girls being Black. It was great. It was great.
Dope.
She literally emailed me. She literally emails me after and is like, I just want you to know that was the most refreshing, fun, and energetic interview I've had about 28 Days of Black Cosplay in all the years I've done it. And I was like, wow, shocker. Black person talking to other Black person make good interview? More at 11. Like, what? But like, now I'm here and I want to challenge those notions and just being like, when I see companies that are just like, oh, you have to understand doing those diversity efforts are hard. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, are they? You sure?
Are you just not trying?
Because like, I was at Crystal for a smooth
skipping
6
over
months.
email, skipping over
like I was at Crystal for 6 months and did all of that. We are literally doing more of the same for Pride, where we're working with more content creators and paying more people and doing more charity fundraising. Are y'all sure it's hard, or are you just not motivated to do it?
Right, you're just going in your Black book and picking the same. This one's tried and true. Like
yeah, because there is a conversation to be had about budget, and this is where I get to drag some of content creation a little bit. A lot of people want to be very loud about knowing your worth and all of that stuff, and that's very good and very accurate, but there also has to be a realistic understanding of the fact that companies still have budgets, companies still have benchmarks, companies still have things they have to do. Drag them for filth when they tell you that they can't give you a contract when you know with good authority that they're paying that white dude over there $1.5 million to do a bunch of fuck all and nothing. Absolutely call that kind of shit out. I am there for that conversation.
They give you scraps and pennies to make them be on your Twitch and TikTok 40 days.
baby.
Okay.
Some of the contracts that I've
Okay.
seen come through, I'm like, oh, you're high. Is it crack? It's crack. It's crack. It has to be. You didn't ask me to do 30 days of content for free fucking 99. Surely you didn't. Not in the year of our Lord Beyonce 2023. No. No, you didn't do that. Especially when I know that you paid someone over there. Go fuck
To do
yourself.
nothing.
Out of my fucking
Hey, can
riches
you
with this
make
shit.
and they say it like I feel like their contracts be sheepish. Hey, can you make this one post? We'll give you 2.5 mil. Is that okay? Versus like the
They'll pull
contracts
up in
we
our
would get
DMs
is
being
hey,
rude about it.
right,
Being rude about it.
right.
But then but there's also a conversation to be had about for some of these companies that are trying, there are still limitations at play.
Right.
Like I'm grateful to be with Crystal because I'm not only in the gaming industry, I get to see a lot of it firsthand, and I get to see a lot of things that can throw a budget in the fucking shitter expa fucking viciously.
Oh wow.
So like I'm not gonna get into the numbers,
Of course.
but like literally I was so pleased with how much we could pay people to sit on the Crystal channel for 1 hour and just fucking shoot the shit. I was like, yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat. I know several people who would 100% get that offer and be like, oh yeah, let's fucking vibe. Let's rock.
Yeah.
Easy. Done. But then you'll see like other things come through, and now all of a sudden that budget just went boop. And it's like, so like, I'm not saying that happens all the time or frequently,
Right.
but it is the thing that can happen. It is very realistic to have like a campaign where you're like, yeah, our budget is $10,000. And then you pull it off. And then the next one, you're like, all right, dope, $10,000. And someone has to pull you aside and be like, hey, can I holler at you real quick about that? And it goes from 10,000 to like a smooth 3,000 or something like that. And that fucks up whole battle plans.
Yeah.
It fucks up whole battle plans.
Because you done had people on the list. You done had this, that, and the third. Oh shit. How do you navigate that?
And that's the next thing I was going to get into. Navigating that is nightmare fuel because you've already done the activation that gave out 10 grand. So the expectation has been set. So now it's round 2 and you're magically, and these are all arbitrary numbers. This is not a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
But now you all of a sudden are down 70% of your funds that you were going to use. So what happens when they've told their homies, oh yeah, working with this company is great. They paid me, I'll throw a number out there, $1,000 to just be on their podcast. And now all of a sudden I can't make that same offer.
Oh, so then it becomes like a battle of like, oh, do they not think I'm worth 1,000 because this one was worth 1,000 last year? Oh, that can create fucking problems.
That creates big time problems.
That can create competition within people, jealousies, envies between the same community, the whole fucking nine.
And here's the thing, as the person who just delivers the news, how much control did I have over
the messenger's
all of that
getting
conversation?
Shot. Yeah, zero, absolutely none.
But guess who's gonna get cursed up?
Oh, you. Yeah, in that realm, shooting the messenger, like don't kill the messenger, doesn't even apply. They lighten you up for that.
Oh yeah, lit up. And there's not a lot of stuff that I can. And see, and like I said, I use arbitrary numbers because there's gonna be other people who work in the gaming industry who are gonna see something like that and be like, And it's like, and we also are in a position where we can't talk about a lot of stuff like that. We can't give you the nitty-gritty details about, hey, this is why I can't do this. Hey, this is why I can't do that, which is another thing that I want to combat because the transparency in the gaming industry at large is fucking dog shit. It's awful.
I was about to ask, like, do you know those reasons when it goes from 10K to 3K, or you're just left to be like, I guess we have 3K.
I guess we have 3K. It's the same thing.
Fuck? Wow.
That same former employee at Twitch, she and I had a falling out for a hot minute. We're good now, but we had to have a falling out for a hot minute because of the same transparency conversation. Because I had got so fucking exhausted of telling her directly, here are the things that need to change. Here are the things that need to happen. And being, I don't want to say gaslit because it wasn't quite gaslighting, but it was very unintentional, like maliciousness, having her come back and constantly be like, well, Twitch doesn't work that way. Well, Twitch isn't ever going to be that transparent. Well, Twitch doesn't want to do it that way. Well, you have to understand how this navigates, and you have to do, and I looked and I was like, you know what? If you are going to keep asking me for advice. I didn't say it to her like this because I was pissed off. And when I'm pissed off, I just break off of things.
That's a fact.
And I just kind of hit that point where mentally I was like, if you're going to keep asking me for this kind of advice and then not actually trying to do something to implement it, then you are effectively wasting my time. So let's just cut the bullshit.
Right.
And I'm just not going to tell you stuff anymore because you very obviously are not going to act on it. So we had to go like silent for a little bit. I had to just stay away, handle my business, do my work, blah, blah, blah. Something came up on my feed that was from her that was actually very, very good and very important for content creation that people don't talk about. And so I sent her a line. I was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know I saw that post and that I really appreciate it because it's a very good post and it needs to be said.
Right.
And she came back to me and was like, hey, do you have like 20 minutes for a call? Because I feel like I need to talk to you about a lot of stuff. And she apologized to me on the spot. And was just like, I am so sorry for all those things. I understand why you're frustrated now because she wound up leaving Twitch. And she left Twitch because she ran into, she left Twitch because
she ran into the same issue I did.
She ran into the exact same problem. And it wasn't even transparency on her side. She started trying to fight the good fight and she was just coming up against a boys club. So she got tired and burnt out. And she was just like, I got tired of it. I couldn't do it. I want to change stuff. I want to fix stuff. I want things to be better. And just there is no motivation. This is for legal reasons. This is a conversation that happened 2 years ago or more. So I cannot speak to it being accurate at this time. But like at the time, there was just no fucking interest in actually trying to make big, tangible change. And she was like, I couldn't do it. And when I left, I literally cried. And I looked and I was like, I believe it because you want things to be successful. You want things to be better. You want things to elevate. And when you see in 4K the people and obstacles that do not want to do that with you, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was one of the reasons why I had to just get off of Twitter as well, because I got so tired of trying to put out informative things, knowledgeable things, alternate perspectives.
Angry pushback. You're just getting the mob with pitchforks every time you.
Not even that. I got either the mobs with pitchforks that pushed back, or I got the people who just filed it as way as, oh, Vanessa's just bitching. And so now,
but not taking that information and being like.
And so now we're in this very awkward and shitty position, kind of what brought this whole conversation up, where content creation is on a constant flux of up, down, up, down, up, down, all because of the fact that it's like no one wants to take stock of what we're dealing with here. It's always about the surface issue, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's
really
always about Twitch fucked up.
Right.
It's always about Twitch fucked up Black History Month. And it stops there. And it's like, but the reason I would bitch is because I want to understand why it fucked up so bad. Because we all agree that the representation is shit tier.
Right.
We all agree that every time they say we're going to maximize your visibility, we're like, well, according to my fucking stream summary, that was a fucking lie.
Right.
And we all agree that like the swag boxes and shit are fucking tired. Like, dog, I have a 50-ounce water bottle at this point. I hate to break it to you. I do not need another motherfucking Twitch water bottle. I do not need a motherfucking Twitch sweater. I do not need a motherfucking hoodie. I don't need the shit anymore.
Right.
I need y'all to stop sending me care packages hoping that it placates us. Or placates? Playstates. I think it's playstates. I'll have to look it up. Sometime I might have a master's degree that doesn't even know how to speak well. But like straight up. But like I need y'all to stop sending us packages and start actually like internalizing the things that some of us say. Because yeah, you're right. There's a lot of bullshit out there and there's a lot of angry people and there's a lot of people who just talk because they want the clicks. You are 100% correct. But amongst all of that is also the people who have fucking points.
Right.
They have points.
Bringing actual information to what you could do to do better. Like, so like with that, because I want to ask, like, so like with that, because that everything that you've went through and like the becoming now like
the conclusion of that question, by the way, is keep your head down, drink water, and work on your content.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Because
keep your head down, drink water, and work on your content. I am begging you, please.
That's a fact.
Please. Because if I see any more of these conversations coming up about this stuff, I'm gonna actually fucking lose it. Like But that is how I got through all of my stuff. Is like I hit that point of realizing I am not here to be popular. I'm here for change and I'm here to get shit done. And the way I'm going to get shit done is unfortunately not sitting my ass on Twitter for 7 hours a day making mega threads about here's all the reasons that Twitch is fucking up. Here's all the reasons that this is racist. Here's all the y'all don't read the shit, no way. Y'all don't even fucking read channel rules. So why am I writing this? There's a no backseating rule, homie. It's pinned at the top of the chat.
Yeah, like yo, that's my.
What do you mean? It's literally got its own dedicated block. Hello.
God, I hate backseating.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I would much rather deal with like actual issues I have in my community over like the constant need to fight shit or dedicate my stream space to talking about this shit. Like I have an opening segment, we'll talk about gaming news and we'll talk about some things I might know about. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Thank you, Dungeon. Let's go fucking die. And I just kind of roll with it from there. And I even had to put that boundary up a little bit in my channel. Where
I was just about to add, like, how do you manage your, like, now that you have this new outlook, right? Like of who you are now, like you're like you stepped away for that to like for your mental health, for your joy, you know what I'm saying? And to reinvigorate your passion, because I'm sure that was tiring and that probably tiptoed your passion. It tap danced with it. But like, now when you're just focused on your community, like how's that?
Yeah, so like in our like Discord, it used to be Discord, we moved over to Guilded because Discord's on bullshit, but then Guilded's owned by fucking Roblox, and that's a whole conversation. But that's a perfect kind of segue into it. We have spaces to talk about things like that specifically, that are heavier topics, that are deeper topics, that are activism topics. And it kind of got to that point where I had to set the boundary with a lot of the community flat out saying, hey, when I'm streaming live in particular, if I don't open the floor for that kind of conversation, then that kind of conversation is not going to be what we're having, point blank, period. Because we had got, because there's plenty of people who like their activism button is always on, always on, always on. And I'm like, hey, you're right. The creator of Earthworm Jim is an asshole, 100%. But I am not here to talk about how he's a transphobic piece of shit that should be jumped into a fucking wood chipper. I'm here to talk about why I liked Earthworm Jim when I was growing up.
Right.
And those are two different conversations that don't need to be attached to one another right now.
But there is a time and a place, and you can have that time in that place, but not
and there's plenty
here
of things that are
if I don't start.
Not here right now, and especially considering if I play my Genesis cart of Earthworm Jim, that man does not make money off of that. I've had that cartridge since I was like 9. So the money is there, it's gone. Like
he's rich already.
We're going about our day on that shit. I am not contributing to that man's pockets in any fucking magnitude. And it kind of got that way too. I'll never forget. I think I was baking one time. Yeah, I was baking. And I was talking about Drunken Buddha because I adore Buddha. And I loved watching his baking streams. I know that he doesn't do it that much anymore. I don't know what his cadence is at this point, but anytime I bake, I wear his the apron that says Drunken Buddha. I have to.
Shout out to Buddha.
It's mandatory. Also, maximum auntie energy. I learned very quickly I am actually a real life aunt. I'm here to just like support everybody. I'm upset because I'm not upset. I'm wearing my Protect Trans Kids shirt because protect trans kids, but I'm wearing it because I found that shirt before I found my Okadrian shirt. I was like, well, it's a long sleeve black shirt, and that's what I wanted, so that's fine, and it works. It's fine. So yeah, let's get into it. But like, I wear the Junkie Buddha aprons, and people are like, hey, I opened a new shop, buy stuff. My boy, the Blacktastic, opened up his shop, and I was like, yep, buying something from it. Not sure what, but I'm gonna buy something. So I have a Blacktastic mug, I have an Okadrian shirt, I have a J-Rock shirt. Like, if you have merch and I watch your content, please let me know, because I want to give you money, like straight up. And I'm like, and then I actually did become an aunt. I just had a newborn nephew, May 24th. Nephew just entered the world.
Yay!
And I looked and I was like, I am going to spend so much fucking money on this kid. I am so excited. I've already sent like tons of onesies and beanies and other shit. There's like, my fucking husband has to stop me. He's like, you know, you've bought like $200 of clothes. You could just stop buying clothes. I was like, I can, but counterpoint, I won't. I'm the gaming industry auntie. This is my calling. I have found my place in life. I'm
Right.
gonna waste so much money. This kid is gonna have every new console. I need you to understand that. Like every new console. My brother is gonna hit a point. It's gonna be when the kid's like 12, I'm pretty sure. He's gonna hit a point and be like, hey sis, I'm a level with you. You gotta stop buying every console that comes out. And I was like, what you gonna do about it?
Yeah, are you gonna stop me?
Motherfucker, I'm older than you. I have a black belt in Taekwondo. I'm a second
You
dan. I
can't
will fucking
stop me.
suplex you if you ever approach me disrespectfully like this again. I can't suplex nobody. My knees are so bad at this point. But like, I also don't even like physical violence. I'm a verbal violent person. So like, with that all being said, like, I just that's what I wanted to do. And so
Yeah.
like I had to set those boundaries. So I was talking about Drunken Buddha on my baking stream, and I was like, I still want Buddha to get the flowers. Where is the Buddha and Babish collab? I demand it, put it in my
Yes.
hand. And
Yes.
people and people came in and immediately was like, well, you shouldn't support Benjamin with Babish because he supports the turf game. And I'm like, all right, everybody, we're gonna call this in for a second. So here's my problem. The Benjamin with Babish turf game is a problem. You are correct.
Right.
You are absolutely correct, because we don't support turfs in the wine cellar. And if you support turfs, well, I regret to inform you, you are in the wrong place. But
That's
I
a
need to
fact.
highlight, but I need to highlight that the commentary was not specifically about Babish. It was about Drunken Buddha.
Yep.
And the conversation I was having was that I want Drunken Buddha to get his flowers. That was the point blank period of what I said. So the fact that y'all bypassed what I said to make sure you could insert this activism bit, I got problems with it.
Right.
Because I think my point was clear. And I think that it was okay for you to maybe just mentally substitute in like Sola or something else. I literally just said what was off the cuff, plus it has cool alliteration.
Yeah.
Can we not do the thing?
Cool.
Yeah. But can we not do the thing where like when I'm trying to talk about I want to uplift my homie, you barge in and want to be like, but if you do it this way, then it's blah, 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 blah. And it's like, because it assumes that I don't know that. It assumes that I'm not cognizant of it. And then above all that, you are completely detracting from the conversation. And everyone kind of took it and just was like, you know what, you right, that was our fuck up. And I was like, yeah, can we maybe not discourse while I'm live?
Word.
Like, for fuck's sake, I'm baking cookies. Like,
word. Like I'm not here being ignorant, and don't assume that I'm.
Yeah, I'm baking cookies. And so like I even talked about it with my mods and stuff too, where I had to just make that a firm boundary where I was like, yeah, if I don't open the discourse floor, then assume that the discourse floor is closed for business. And that extends to everything. No, I don't want to talk about the representation in this game, because right now in this game, I'm focused on killing fucking zombies. That is it. And that is all. I do not give a fuck that the main character is not black. My current goal is, how do I attach the electrified barbed wire to my fucking bat? That is my goal. That is my goal. I want to know how I can be more violent and more efficient with my violence. That is it. Maybe we can talk about that when the game is done. But right now, if you're not going to tell me how to make my bat go bst, I don't fucking care. I do not care. And that's not to say I don't care about the topic. It's just at this current moment, I don't care.
Do you feel like people who do that, and we after this, I want to go into some other stuff too. But do you feel like the people who do that, who like barge in with that type of discourse, right? Do you think they cling to the personality you had in year 1, 2, the big activist personality in year 1 and 2, so they always feel that you have that discourse open for business at all times, even 7 years in?
Yeah, it's a thing that I want to write about a little bit more on either Medium or co-host. I can't decide where I want to write it, and also sleep is great, so I don't write. But like,
unless it's the Darkest Dungeon wiki.
Yeah. Like my month is so busy, so it's gonna be all done by the time I'm free. But it's fine. I'll probably go through it and be like, I'll just fix typos and shit.
Right.
But like, I think that it's not even just that they cling to that part of my personality. I think that there's a perpetual issue, and I hate to throw out like numbers and stuff, but it's a perpetual issue what I see with budding activists, and especially activists that are in earnest good at what they do.
Right.
Many of them. If it's from leftist Twitch, don't trust any of it. Leftist Twitch is a dumpster fire. It's useless. Don't go to it.
Right.
But like literally for a lot of these people, I feel like they are still in that point of understanding and learning how to turn their activism button off.
Oh.
And that and like because when I see stuff like that, I very earnestly see a carbon copy of how I used to be back when I was 23. Because I was the same way and I was on Facebook with it.
Yeah.
I used to be like all the time activism, all the time talking about stuff, all the time bringing things up. And I would inject things into it that like, maybe it's not the time or place to inject that conversation right now. Like, if you want to talk about it, by all means, talk about it on your pages and your spaces if that's all you want to do. But there's a lot of, I try to leave a lot of space for understanding that this is a growing process because I can see the former activist me in a lot of these people where like someone did this to me on Twitter. Shocking, I know. Someone did this to me on Twitter. I was making fun of Gabe James, who I adore, absolutely fantastic human being, 10 out of 10, would Gabe James again. And I always make fun of them because they always wear a fake septum ring. And I always, every time I see this fake septum ring come out, I come in just absolutely honorary as fuck. I'm like, why are you being a bitch? Go get your septum pierced. Mira's in that picture too. So like, I don't know if Mira's got it done yet or not. I'll have to go double check. She probably hasn't because she said she was trying to find a shop that could do it. And that's fair because a lot of people don't know how to pierce and tap Black people. That could be a whole episode in and of itself. But so like, I made this comment and I was like, man, y'all need to stop playing in my face and go get your motherfucking septums pierced because this right here is not it. You keep playing with my fucking feelings and you need to just go get it done. I don't remember what I tweeted. But what I do remember is that some random that I've never met, never spoke to, has never been a part of the wine cellar, retweets my shit. And it's just like, you know, this is a good way to say that you don't care about people with needle phobias. And I looked and I was like,
what?
Motherfucker, this isn't for you then. Like, you don't know. And it's the part where it's like, because they haven't been. Yeah,
why would
and
they
it's the
do
part where
that?
they've never been in my spaces. And I was just like, you don't know anything about me, which like, that is the actual thing that we need to get to. Like, I leave space for people to kind of like get into that process. One of my mods is exactly 10 years younger than me. So like when I say it is a carbon copy, but she's like the white trans version, I'm just like, oh my God, I see myself in you so badly. And like, she's been modding for me for the better part of 4, maybe 5 years. And I've watched her as she started hitting that point herself. And so now she's 27 years old and she's hitting that stage too, where she's just like, yeah, I have to unplug sometimes. Like I can't be in activism mode all the time. Her big hot button, like for me, it's being Black and queer and the intersection. Her big hot button is ableism. So like, yeah, that's the one thing that it's like she's always tuned in for obvious reasons. She's also disabled and she's also like overseas.
Gotcha. Okay.
But like at the same time, even she hit that point where she was like, yeah, like there's just times I don't want to talk about this shit. Sometimes I just want to put on my mask and go rollerblading.
Right.
And that's it. Sometimes I just want to like lay with my partners and be high. Sometimes I just want to play Divinity Original. Sometimes I just don't want to think about it. And I was like, I knew you'd get there eventually.
Do you?
That's why I didn't bother with it. But there's also a conversation to be had about how there's a lot of these people that they're very much poseurs and all they want to do is just come in with their, well, actually, dog, I'll curse you the fuck out. I don't care. I do not give a shit. Like I ban swiftly. I block swiftly. I started a new account on my Crystal account and I made a new rule for my blocking and it went like this. If you annoy me even marginally, you're fucking out of here. I'm not dealing with it. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and just be like, well, maybe they're better now. Maybe I should unblock. Nah, fuck you. If you got blocked, it's because you annoyed me at some point. I'm not dealing with it. No. Oh, well, I want to do an activation with Crystal. Are you blocked, bitch? Did you not do an activation with Crystal? The answer, no. No. Well, you don't even remember why you blocked me. I know you pissed me off that day when I blocked you, and that's enough.
And if you blocked, I don't need to remember it. I knew it when I did it. But that's a good point that I want to because I want to switch gears to right after this. But like with the people that you see yourself in that you care about, right? And kind of going into being the auntie, right? Do you let them come to that realization of like unplugging, turning it off on their own, or do you try to like talk with them and have and give them like teachable moments because you see yourself so much in them?
It's
Mhm.
it's hard to kind of quantify and explain that because your mileage may vary.
Got it.
Depending
Okay.
on the situation, I am willing to have conversations and call-ins. I'll never forget, this is one of the reasons I love Pikachu Lita. Oh, absolute
Oh,
favorite
shout out to
person.
Pikachu. Yeah.
Oh my God, love her so much. So this is one of the reasons I think me and Pikachu Lita get along really well. There's people that I'm willing to call in and have the conversation with because I genuinely believe that this is a misstep and they don't understand where the problem is occurring.
Okay.
She and I tag team this for a certain someone who will remain unnamed because I just don't feel like starting that shit up again. And
Yeah.
like,
I'm with you.
yeah, and like I kind of have a one and done policy. I'm willing to have that talk with you at least one time. And I'm willing to
Got it.
explain it to you at least one time if I'm comfortable doing such, mind you, because
Okay.
otherwise I'd
Right.
be doing this for everyone and not just be burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after I've done it that one time, if time passes and I see that you just are going to take what I said lightly and fuck off and do whatever, okay, cool. I'm just leave it be. I'm not going to make more space for that. I'm not going to make more like understanding for that. I'm
Mhm.
not going to try and sit here and be like, oh, well, I wonder what else is going wrong. No, fuck that. Because a lot of these people, this is another thing about the internet that people I need to wrap their brain around. Most everyone in this joint at this point is grown years old. These are not kids. These are not children. These are not teenagers. These are not children. These are not teenagers. These are not little angsty teens getting it out because they're angry at their mom for not getting the PS5.
Right.
Some of these are grown ass people.
Right.
These are grown ass people.
30 plus.
So like, I should not have to make this any more simplified than I need to. And at that point, if you do not want to change, it is willing and intentional, and I can just simply not. And so like, I see the people who do better. Like I said, she came to that realization on her own. She's just like, yeah, sometimes you just got to unplug. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And like, she's very good at like kind of recognizing when she fucks up things and where she could do things better. And so she has that going for her. Introspection is hard. It's very hard. But like, I don't make that space for everybody. Like, I have to actually be invested and or care about you to some degree to actually want to do that type of stuff.
Right.
Because like I said, if you're trying to do it for everyone, you're going to be tired, you're going to be burnt out, you're going to be exhausted. That was something the wine cellar was doing at like year 3, and I just was tired all the time. And that was kind of something I actually came into maybe in the last year and a half, that I was like, I need to be better about blocking and banning people who are not good about these things. And so it has been such a relief as well, because there was a guy recently, like I said, I work at GDQ. I did my Bloodborne hit list showcase on Unapologetically Black and Fast. And I was nervous, but I also kind of screwed myself because I surprised everyone with a cosplay, and the cosplay had a corset. I have done practice for my Bloodborne run for many months not wearing a corset. Did you know that I breathe a lot when I'm trying to focus on not getting hit by bosses in Bloodborne?
Oh, and it was, oh no.
I got 2 of my bosses of the 8. So, and everyone was like, but it was a showcase. So you got to talk about the tech. You got to talk about this. So it was still awesome. And I'm just like, I'm terrible. And now I'm watching SGDQ and people are fucking up everywhere. And I was like, never mind, I'm fine. Never mind, I'm fine. But like, I had a big influx of followers come in from that. And there were a couple people that they caught themselves getting hit by the door real fucking quick, like, because they found out that I was like, no, I'm not, I don't know you like that. A lot of y'all are just random motherfuckers on the internet. I don't know you like that. So I don't have to put in energy like that.
There's no rapport here. Right.
Yeah. So listen to what the fuck my mods say, or get the fuck off out of my motherfucking mentions.
It is.
Like, it's that easy. And so like, one person tried to get into it with my mod when we were trying to move over to Gilded, and just kind of do the overzealous activism thing where they just harping. But look at the owner, but look at the owner, but look at the owner. And I was like, hey, check this out. We know. And the thing is, we are choosing between a shit tier owner that has not put any influence onto the application yet, thank God, or between a platform that does things like try to sneak crypto onto it, or try to sneak different legalese into it that makes it so that they own your shit, or trying to do things like make it so that you don't have to have numbers anymore and not think about how that's horrible for identity. like, this is
Yeah,
not
what
what
the
we call a winning scenario. So what I need you to do is like actually shut the fuck up. And then like, and then they got all pissy about it. And they came into my channel after that moment one more time to be like, hey, how's your day going? And you have to understand, I'm a Leo to the motherfucking T. I said what the fuck I said. Do not come in here being all sheepish and shit. Either apologize or get the fuck out. Like I don't
Yeah,
do these types of things.
that's
I
it.
hate that shit. People who are just like, hey, I remember that time you cursed me out. Are we cool now? Did you apologize,
Yeah,
bitch?
did you
And then
talk
what the
about
fuck
it?
you asking me for? Don't ask a fucking goofy ass question like this, you fucking weirdo. You knew why I cursed you out. You still upset about the fact that I
I
cursed you
love
out. That's
this.
why you fucking tiptoeing your bitch ass in here. Sorry, I had to
No,
actually
I
have
love.
a moment on that
I'm with
because I
you.
have like
I'm with you.
multiple people who have done that where they're just like, hey, and I'm like, the fuck do you want? And they're just like, oh, so you're still
Yeah, I
angry?
don't
And I'm
fuck
like,
with that.
I'm petty.
I don't fuck with
Yes,
that.
I'm still angry.
And
I'm petty as
we're
hell.
close because I'm a Virgo, so we're right
Yeah,
there.
I was like, I'm petty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still angry as hell. I'm gonna be angry until you fucking apologize.
People
I'm gonna
know
be
my
in my
petty knows
grave.
no
My
bounds.
gravestone is gonna say, "Here lies PT." Yes, she is still angry. That's what it's gonna say. That is what it's gonna say. Yeah, I'm still pissed off at
And
you.
if I
The
didn't
wrong
fuck with you, the PT on the tombstone stands for petty. Get the fuck out my face.
Get the fuck out my face.
Fuck out my face.
Don't come around here asking me if we cool now. Are we? I said what the fuck I needed this girl. Anyway, any fucking way. So yeah, they came in on that and they ain't came back. And I was like, I'm glad we got that taken care of. And then another guy came in, and this one was just like, this was when I knew that we made the right call. You ever have those people that enter your space in your community that they aren't necessarily problematic, but you can tell the vibes are just off.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, we had one of those. We had one of those pull up too, and I was just
Ooh.
like, I don't think we need to issue a reason for it. I think the play is we just banned them.
Yeah.
I think we just banned them, and like my black mods, all of my mods are black, trans, or a combination thereof,
Nice.
and we all are just like, yeah. I think if the vibes are off, that's enough. I think that's enough.
I don't need no reason.
You don't pass the vibe check, you're out of here.
I don't need
let's do it.
I don't need no explanation to keep my community safe.
No, that's cool.
Need none.
No, that's cool. You don't pass the vibe check, you're out. And we did that. And the moment that we did it, we all were just like, wow. Yeah, it was really that easy. It was really that easy. So I'm looking at all you motherfuckers. Your shoulder,
ain't it?
Yeah, so I'm looking at all you motherfuckers who sit here, game industry creators, everything else, talking about how, well, there's a lot of nuance and stipulation. There is a lot of nuance and stipulation, but for some of the stuff y'all talking about, it is not really that a lot of nuance and stipulation. If the guy gave you money and you found out later he's a transphobe, I do not care how much money he gave you. He's a transphobe. Therefore, he gets the fuck out. That's how that works. Right. That's you're a transphobe? Exit.
Safety number
Stage
one.
left. Fucking immediately.
Protect the vibes and everything else will be okay. I don't know why people don't get that.
And see, for me, kind of bringing all this full circle,
yeah, please.
I got that, but I didn't internalize it because I was so focused on trying to make sure that people knew where they were misstepping. People knew where they could do better. People knew where they fucked up. And
focusing more on like teachable moments than just.
And I looked and I was like, but what if not everything is a teachable moment? What if sometimes the correct answer is you tell them, get the fuck out?
There it is. And they can learn by themselves.
It's that part right there. Because I knew about that. And I looked and I was like, I've been saying this and I'm not applying it to myself. I don't have to monitor your growth. I don't have to monitor your changes. I don't have to monitor whether or not you do better. You can get the fuck out now.
You are the auntie, not the mother. I'm with you.
And you can just do that on your own if you want later. And if you do great later, A+, love that for you. I don't have to be there for that. Maybe I'll find out later that you did do better. I don't know. But understand that the petty clause is still in effect. I will be waiting for my apology when you get your shit together. Well, I just feel like PT won't talk to me. I mean, I'm a very approachable person. I'm a very, very open book. And all you got to do is pull up and just be like, hey, is things good? Or someone at like St. Jude had that moment where they just literally walked up to me and was like, so I was always under the impression that I made you upset, and I was like, made me upset by what?
Yeah,
Huh?
did you do something?
Doing what? And they were just like, and we used to be on a team together that got dissolved because problems. So like,
we know about that, don't
surprise.
we?
So
what a world.
yeah. And he just approached me. He was like, I just felt like maybe you were angry at me and maybe you were upset at how I handled some stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm always upset at how people handle a lot of things. That is the background noise of my life. This is why I'm a project manager. That's who I am.
Right.
But like, in what regards do you mean? And he talked to me about it. He explained it. I was like, oh, sweetheart, I didn't give a fuck about none of that. No, this is fine. You are fine. I know exactly who you are. I know what's been going on and blah, blah, blah. No, I have no problems with you. He was like, that is such a relief to just hear you straight up say that. And I was like, yeah, it's that easy get on my good graces. It's really that simple. There's someone at St. Jude that I've had blocked for some years that came up to me and just straight up was like, hey, I'm really sorry about how all that went down. I was really just emotional and sensitive, and I was just trying to be protective, and I really should have just stepped back and thought about it some more. And I realize now that, yeah, I hurt a lot of people in that process. And I was like, yeah. I'm not one of the main affected parties, but I'm glad that you realized that.
Right.
And she was just like, yeah, but I wanted to at least talk to you and be like, I'm really sorry about how all that went down. And I was like, that's appreciated. And then she gave me a sticker and I have it in my little book. and the sticker is very special to me because it's a sticker of one of the few commissioned emotes that I've done.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, that's
so
dope.
Like she was like, yeah, I've always wanted to give you one of these. So I'm super happy I get to give you one now. So I have my own artwork that I created as a sticker for someone else that paid me in one of my notebooks.
That's
and I was just
dope.
like, this is cool. And like I said, and now cool. Auntie mode is back. Auntie status restored. I'm just like, oh, look at this. This baby just gave me all these stickers and look at all these things. And I just show off stuff. That's who I am as a person. Like I just want to show off other people's stuff all the time. I'm just like, did you look at these things? Look at this stuff. Look at that cool thing. Did you see they're on the billboard? That's so dope. And I wish more people had that. And I wish more people had that kind of energy, because looping the entire conversation around, that goes back as well to the whole aspect of competitiveness.
Yes.
Bitterness, even. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
A problem.
I just want everyone to feel like they can win.
Yes.
I want everyone to feel like they can win. And
without needing someone else to lose.
Yeah, without needing someone else. That's exactly it. Without needing someone else to lose. And I think that's why I kind of broke off of so much stuff that I did to focus on myself and my content, because I looked and I was like, I am not invested in people losing. I'm invested in W's. Now, I got all types of tea and side keys and stuff about why some people are losing. I got all kinds of intel about why some people are losing. But like, I am never going to be that person that's going to sit there and be like, I really hope they lose.
Yeah.
I really hope that they hold that L. Yeah. I really hope.
Nobody wishes for downfalls, right?
Yeah. Even at my angriest, at my pettiness, when I can see the downfall coming, I am still someone that will end that with, I hope that this taught them something.
Yeah.
I want everyone to have the W. Please, we need to be better about working together. Yes. We do not work together. And that's not a specific group. That's a generalized statement. We do not work together worth a fuck. And a lot of it has, and there's a lot of layers to that, but I would love to see the point where it's like, instead of it being the competition 24/7, 365, be more like, I mean, competition is going to happen. Healthy competition.
Right.
I want healthy competition. I want to see more stuff like when I'm hanging out in Okadrian's chat and he's getting fucking waxed by Fats and just is having the time of his life. I mean, Adrian, listen, Adrian going to come back to me after this. I'm streaming with him later tonight, and it's his birthday this week, and I get to give him shit. But quite literally, I was watching his stream, and I mean, Fats was beating the fucking brakes off of him, and it was some of the funniest fucking. Oh god, I have to look it up because I just purchased it because I saw it and I was like, it was $10, and it's a game that apparently is no longer being worked on, which makes me very, very sad. Let's see how Steam is going to work. It's going to say new to library, Pocket Rumble.
Oh,
Pocket Rumble. Okay. And so, like, I mean, Fats Fats was beating the ever living dog shit out of him. It was so fucking funny. But what made it funny wasn't the fact that Adrian was losing. It was the fact that Adrian was losing, but talking shit like he was the fucking king of W's. It was so fun. It was so high energy. I laughed so much. This man at one point had an actual record on stream that said 0-18.
Oh my God.
0-18. He won one set. He was like, look, we got the motherfucker scared. And I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with you. I cannot with you. I can't do it. And I'm over on Fat's channel too. And Fats is talking shit back. Oh my God. It was so fun. But it was just like such a good, healthy, competitive.
Yeah, that's just a good time. It's just and that brings me to to because I want to know more about like your joy too. Like your the communities you love, the games you love, like the things that you like, the things that make you, you know, geek out and passionate about. Like, I love hearing that you wrote for Darkest Dungeon Wiki. I love hearing that you know Dark Sonic lore. Right. Because I'm a big lore person, especially if it has some horror stuff in it.
Junkie.
Oh my God.
Before
I jumped into that Link creepypasta like it was nobody's business.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like, I'm the deep dive person. I want to know about the creepypastas. I want to know about all the forbidden art, even though it's gonna like sear my brain. I want to know about like the guides. I want to know all the people who are working on things. I love learning that type of shit. I collect art books, like any type of art of game. Fuck me up. Let's go. I want to see how you made this. Like when the Cuphead one that's behind me here, I'm pointing directly at it.
I remember you was going through that on stream. That was a good time.
Oh my God. And I was so emotional because that collector's edition comes with a single hand-drawn cell from the game. It has an authentic drawn cell in it. And I'm like, this is dope.
That's actually dope.
This is dope.
I might have to actually try to get that.
I want to see more shit like this. Yeah. I love art of books. Like the entire top half of the shelf is strategy guides. I think that's right.
Oh, yes. I haven't seen a strategy guide in so long. I love that.
Yeah, I love strategy guides. The entire top half of the shelf is strategy guides. The entire bottom half of the shelf is art books. Oh yeah, that's that's a Bloodborne art book. That's a Bloodborne art book because I found that they were supposedly only supposed to be published in Japan. They have English translations in the book, and it has a soft cover, which is my preferred cover because a lot of people like hardcover. I actually like soft covers more. It's just something about like the bendability that really makes me happy. Yeah. And then but yeah, I collect stuff like that, and I love doing lore dumps, which is why, like, when it came to things like Dark Souls, I thought Dark Souls was going to be the end of my streaming career because I did it for a charity incentive, and I was like, I'll play Dark Souls 3. Haha, we won't raise that money. And then they said, fuck you, and they raised all the money. So, like, I had to play Dark Souls 3, and I was like, this is it. I'm going to stop streaming because everyone's going to see that I'm a bad gamer. Joke's on everyone. I fucking steamrolled that shit. Like, loved it. Love it. I'm like picking up things, and I have this weird like beacon on me that I don't know about until I was streaming, where like the speedrunners and the challenge runners just inherently find me. I never go looking for them. I never find them. I was playing the Messenger, and the speed running Messenger community found me and was just like, do you want to speed run this? I was like, I don't know what that means. And they're like, oh, she's a new initiate. Grab her. And they're just like showing me all these things and stuff, and I was like, this is so cool. And so like I speed ran the Messenger, I do speed runs of Katana Zero. I want to learn a couple other speed runs, but I don't actually have time, and I'm never going to be world record, but that's fine because like I can still beat Katana Zero in like 28 minutes. Like I don't need to be the world record holder. I can beat a game that takes most people 5 hours and 28 fucking minutes. So that's dope. And like I love that type of stuff. And the thing that got me with Dark Souls was that like I had no idea how they handled story, because at one point I think I was like talking about it. I have it on my YouTube somewhere because I have all my streams archived. And I remember talking about it. I was just like, I don't know what the story for this game is. And so a couple of people who had played Dark Souls and then Team Hitless who are now really good friends with like one of the leaders.
Shit.
Team Hitless pulls up and they're like, oh, this is your first time? Okay, so what you're gonna do is you can like start looking at some of the items and you can read things about them. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought these were just descriptions of the items. And they're like, well, there are descriptions of the items, but then there's also lore attached to them. And at that point, it was completely downhill because like I didn't realize that like actual story bits were on every single thing. Armor pieces have story bits, and then there's NPCs that have side stories that you can like advance or completely fuck up because, you know, FromSoft doesn't tell you shit, but we don't get into that. We won't get into that. I'm not trying to have Souls rolls on your shit being like, Souls is fine. Fuck off. I play Bloodborne hitless. Just let me cook. So like, all this lore is on all this armor and all these other things. And I'm like, oh my God. So the story's like within all of this stuff. And they're like, hey, that armor piece you're holding there, you should read it. And now I was just like, this says it's something about like the Knights of Anorlando. And they're like, yeah, that's where you are right now. That was actually a location in Dark Souls 1 too. And I was like, wait, these are continuations. They're like, kind of. Dark Souls 3 is a follow-up story from Dark Souls 1. And so the Dark Souls 3 final boss is actually a throwback, specifically story and development wise to the first final boss, or not the first final boss, the final boss of the first Dark Souls game. So like when you're fighting the Soul of Cinder and it goes into phase 2, the phase 2 moveset is the same moveset as the final boss from Dark Souls 1 to call back to the fact that this is a reincarnation of the flame every single time. And I'm just like, everything about this, I need more information.
That might actually get me into Dark Souls. I've never played Dark Souls.
Oh my God, the lore is
my
so
only Souls
good.
is Elden Ring.
So good.
And like Sekiro. Like that's it.
Yeah, Sekiro's fun too.
Yeah.
And Sekiro, and so while I will drag FromSoft for their absolute insistence of being assholes that don't want to write instructions, I said what I said. Leave me alone. I'm not gonna have this conversation. They don't want to provide instructions and they say that's difficulty and that's corny. That's a period on there. We're not going to go further. So like, but when it comes to things like their research and historical accuracy,
they knock it out the park. Because even when I was playing Elden Ring, I was like, yo, like just reading lore and talking to NPCs, and I was like, this is Sekiro intricate as fuck.
Mountains of rich.
Sekiro got deep. Sekiro got
rich. I want to say Japanese lore, but I felt like that was wrong. No, it's Japanese. I think it's Japanese. See, now I'm second guessing myself. I'm pretty sure it's Japanese.
I believe it is. I'm with you.
Yeah, but like and I mean it's everything. If you can think of it, they've done it. It's everything from the clothing design to the sword designs to like making sure that there's certain things that are era accurate. And then there's of course things that aren't era accurate, like, you know, it's a video game. That's gonna happen. But like
big ass snakes in it. Yeah.
But even there's a fucking ape that you can this is spoilers if you've never played Sekiro. I'm sorry. There's a fucking ape that you have to fight who's headless. Like, you know, obviously that's not a thing. But like it even goes all the way down to things like the statues that are on the rooftops, the tiling that they use for the rooftop, like all of that stuff. Oh my God. I will drag FromSoft forever for accessibility and refusing to put instructions. But when it comes to their presentation, they are
they do
fucking
knock it out the park.
Masterclass.
Yeah, they do knock it out the park. They do hit some masterpieces with that.
And like, and Bloodborne has my heart because I'm a Victorian girly, and I love the aesthetic of Bloodborne. I love the aesthetic of Bloodborne.
Are you getting that Life of Pi one?
You say what?
Are you getting that Life of Pi one? Like that Pinocchio?
Oh, the Life of Pi?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Is that from software? Is that somebody totally different?
Yeah, Lies of P?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're all over that.
Okay, because I'm getting that too. Because I'm like, oh, that would look.
Trust. No, Lies of P, that's a day one.
Okay, okay, we're here. Yeah, okay.
Give me the thing. When I got the key for Wolong and I saw what it was, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get into it. Let's get into it. Let's go. I had no idea I liked these kinds of games until I did that fucking Dark Souls 3 run.
Is that like
for
your
charity.
Favorite genre now? Is that like your favorite challenge? Or
it's one of my favorites easily.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I really enjoy them. My favorite probably still goes to Metroidvanias because my heart will always belong to like Darkest Dungeon, Dead Cells. My current daily addiction is The Binding of Isaac. Like I fucking love roguelikes and Metroidvanias. And I know that that's not the same genre, I'm very aware, but they're very close. And I just kind of couple them together in my mind. Yeah, those are the games that like you can get me to just be on them nonstop, constantly. You got a new roguelike or a Metroidvania? Bet, let's get into it. Like
Oh,
I still need to play Slay the Spire. I love Across the Obelisk. Gunfire
ooh,
Reborn. I'm looking at my Steam library. Gunfire Reborn just released some new DLC, and I'm
I know
ready
about
to
that.
like just bust that wide open because there's 2 new characters. I'm like, yep, let's go, let's go. I've maxed out my tree. I've got new characters, and I've got like 7,000 fucking essence. I'm about to go ahead and max them out and be like, all right, let's see what we're getting into.
Let's do
And
this
so
shit.
like, I love all that shit. But those are the things that like bring me the most joy.
I
And
love that.
even more joy than that, because again, I'm an auntie, even more joy than that, I've told this like with my intros for people now, is like when it comes to Soulsborne games in particular,
Right.
I will always be your cheerleader. I am always happy to
Ah,
be your cheerleader.
yay.
Please put me in your channels. Please put me on comms. I do not care. I
Good.
am here
I'm
with
gonna
you the
need you. I
entire
never played
time.
Bloodborne, but it's on my list, and
Oh my god, I love Bloodborne so much.
I'm getting to it this fall. I know I am.
Oh
So
my god, it is
I will.
so
I'm gonna
fucking
reach
good.
out. I'm gonna hold you to this.
Yeah, please.
'Cause
Like,
I
I
don't know
love
shit.
watching people do their first runs and stuff. They're like, this is so cool. It's so fun. And like, the games are daunting, and that's because of the weirdos in the community who make it daunting. And they're always just like, oh, it's super hard. It's meant to be hard. If you can't get past blah, 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 then you're just a pussy. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm just looking, I'm like, aren't you the guy who threw and broke your controller after getting stuck on the second boss of the game? And then Sony sent you a new one while meanwhile casually I just beat the game like in
Right.
maybe 80
Oh,
hours.
off same controller, by the way.
Listen,
Like,
like I and people will make excuses for that shit too. And I'm like, no, it's okay to say it. You can just say it's inaccessible and that it would be much more better to deal with if you at least had some instructions, because that's just not fun trying to figure things out. Me
yeah.
and Goes on Goats are working on a guide together right now that I'm like proofreading for her.
Ooh,
And
I have to get that because
one of the fun facts of Bloodborne that pisses us both off is that they never once in the entire game, even if you read the little like descriptions and stuff, it is never explained what beast blood pellets are for. Not even once. Not even once. And so I did the entire game and I never knew what they were for, so I never used them because fuck that. I'm not finna fucking experiment. Experimenting's for Metroidvanias and roguelikes, okay? That's when I experiment.
Nah, I'm with that. Bloodborne, you gotta be on your shit.
No, I'm not experimenting shit. That's how you get fucked up. So I just never used them. And when I started working on like my hitless run is when I saw in the guide everything was using beast blood pellets. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll finally use these. The beast blood pellets literally boost your damage.
Oh shit.
The higher the meter is, the more damage you do. In exchange, the lower your defense. And I was like, that is a classic RPG tool.
Yeah,
What?
why would you not explain?
What?
That just
And you just didn't say that? So now I use beast blood pellets, and now I've played so much Bloodborne at this point that even when I try to play casually, I can't not do the hitless route. I'm just like, fuck, I'm too deep in. Like I go up to Father Gascoigne, and I'm just like, this is my favorite hitless fight. Oh right, I'm playing casual.
I gotta take it easy. Like,
I'll be. It's like me kicking dirt in the sidewalk. I guess I'll play normal. And I can't anymore. I just like the strats are too embedded. So like, yeah, those are the things. Lore and like, I like challenging myself.
Right.
I like challenging myself. I like playing stuff and challenging myself, be it on purpose or on accident. Funny story about this.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Hang on, nope. I'm gonna check that message afterwards. Sorry, I'm always getting messages and I never know how to just not check them. So one of the funniest things that happened live on stream, there's a game called 30XX, 20XX. I think it's 30XX. 30XX.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a indie version of Mega Man, so to speak, but it's a Metroidvania roguelike style game. And so like it's a one and done situation. You get your stuff at the end, you go buy out things, you go do upgrades, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I'll never forget, I was live playing it and I was like, this is great. This is awesome. It's only the demo, but that's okay. Blah, 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 blah. And so I'll never forget, I was playing it. No, it's early access. Is it early? Yes, it's still early access. I was playing it and someone who was in my community, he's not there anymore for reasons, but we're not going to get into it.
Okay, I'm with you.
He pulls up and he's just like, yeah, how are you enjoying it? I was like, oh, I really like it and yada, yada, yada. And there's this thing on the floor that I approached and I was like, okay, but I'm still not touching that. I don't want to deal with it. I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to keep going. And this person like you could physically hear their eyes just bounce out of their head, and they were like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "Yeah, this thing that's on the screen, I don't know what that is, so I'm just not touching it. So every time I see it, I just don't touch it." And he was like, "Vanessa, that is the shop." And I was like, "Oh, it is?" And he was like, "Yes, that is the shop." And he was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm about to go fight a boss." And he was like, "What boss are you about to fight?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know." And I walk in and I start fighting the boss and I clear it and it ends the game. I was like, "Oh, what happened?"
You
And
beat
he
the
was
whole
like,
game without going to the shop.
and he looks and he was so fucking irate. He was like, "Let me make sure I understand this correctly. Did you just do a full clear of this game without using the shop?" And I was like, "I guess."
Auntie Pleasantly Twisted. Did you just beat a whole game without going to the shop? Auntie, you gonna have to talk to
It
me.
was. So I just didn't go to it. And he was like, "You really just did a full clear without going to the shop." And I was like, "Why would I know what it was? I didn't want to go to it. It was scary." And he was like, "I hate you. I actually hate you. Do you know how many times I've struggled on this shit? And you just casually just walked your ass in there and beat this man's ass and you ain't go shopping once." And I was like, "I'm sorry."
Come on, Auntie.
But I have moments
Auntie,
like that on stream
come on.
all the time. But I have moments like that on stream all the time. Oh, don't watch me play a JRPG because I
Oh
always
my
forget to
God.
unequip and equip shit. And I'm always just like, this feels like it's hitting way harder than it should. And I'll go look and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to put my armor plate back on." And you can literally hear the entire chat just being like, "I don't know how she does this all the time. She does it constantly. She does it constantly. She just doesn't fucking do stuff and it's just like gonna go steamroll and just does it. And it doesn't make
Oh
sense." And I was
my-
like, "I don't know." I learned with Twitch that I'm apparently an extremely good gamer.
Hey, no. Hey, let me give you some flowers on that. Yeah,
I learned from Twitch that I'm
I've seen
apparently
you
a
beat
very
some damn games that I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
yo.
I learned from Twitch that I'm apparently a very good
I'm
gamer.
like,
Because I always
how?
thought I was just like, I always put myself as casual. And
I've
I was
seen
like, "Oh
you
yeah,
play
I just play
Cuphead,
video
and I was
games."
like, I don't.
You say what?
I seen you play Cuphead, and I was like, I don't.
I love Cuphead though.
I was
I'm
like,
about to use it for crowd control.
I don't under how is what? Like, I've seen
And see,
you
and I thought that was
clear.
normal. And that's the thing. I
Clear.
thought that was normal. I thought that was normal. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a casual game player." And I'm just sitting there like, it was with the Dark Souls stream that, yeah, it was with the Dark Souls 3 stream that it came to a head. Because like quite literally, I was like so nervous, so scared. I was actually like physically shaking in my chair because I thought I was gonna be stuck on the first boss for like eternity, and that was gonna be the end of my stream career. And so I think Iridex Gundyr took me like 2 tries. And then I got Vort on the second try. And then after that is when like something in me just like procced, I guess, and I didn't even realize it because Vort and Gundyr took me 2 tries. I'm trying to remember my pathing because I haven't played Dark Souls 3 in a couple of years.
I'm with you.
And then the Curse Rod of Greatwood took me 1, and I was annoyed by the fight, and I was like, that fight was fucking goofy. I don't ever want to do it again. And then I went to, I want to say was it Abyss Watchers next? No, it was the casting bitch with the big hat that annoys me that I'm pretty sure was inspiration for Ronnie. The caster. I think the caster took me maybe 1 or 2 tries. And the point that actually made people in chat angry is when I got to Abyss Watchers. Because everyone had hyped it up. "Oh yeah, Abyss Watchers, this is where a lot of people stop. This is where a lot of people give up. This is like one of the hardest fights in the game." I walked in and I one-shotted the Abyss Watchers. I walked in and one-shotted the Abyss Watchers. And the thing that made people angry wasn't the fact that I one-shotted them. It was the fact that after I one-shotted them, I proceeded to walk downstairs into the catacombs and I just very casually went, "That was a really fun fight." And immediately
Your chat was like, "What?
Rage
No."
Blew up. It was like, "What the fuck?" And I was just like, I don't know why people are angry. And then I went to, I forget his name because I hate this fight too. He has the big bangles, and I got him on the first try. And then I went to, I can see his name and I just had it, but I forgot it. But yeah, he's like, he dual wields and he's just like really chunky and really fast. He was the first fight that actually took me like a solid 7 tries. And then that's when people were in their fields again. And it was just like, oh yeah, this is about more accurate for what it should look like. And then I think I one-shotted most every boss ever after that. I did not one-shot the Nameless King. I didn't one-shot him. He took me a little bit.
That's the final boss. I think I know that.
Yeah, he's not the final boss, but he's one of the hidden bosses that you.
Big
yeah, he's like one of the hidden bosses. I remember
like
doing
the really tall motherfucker. Is that him? No,
the really tall one is that's Yorm. That's Yorm the giant.
Okay.
Yeah,
the Nameless King is the one with the long hair with the sword.
Yeah, he's got like the big hair. He comes in on the dragon for the first phase.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, Nameless King. That fight was heat, but I took a couple of tries on that because like he has a lot of moves that are very fast, but once you are comfortable, which I know ironic because it's a Souls game, they are very, very easy to predict. And so like got him down and stuff too. And so I have my platinum in Dark Souls 3. And I like enjoyed my first playthrough so much that I was like, I'm gonna go back and platinum this. And people were like, wait, are you serious? And I was like, I am. And so I did. And I went back and platinumed it. And then people were like, are you gonna do challenge runs? I was like, what's that? And you notice how there's a trend of people being like, are you gonna do X? And I'm like, what's that?
And you're like, huh? A challenge?
What's that? And it's always that face too. What's that?
Tell me more.
And they're just like, oh, you don't know what a challenge run is? I was like, no, what's a challenge run? And they're like, oh, it's where people like self-impose rules and they play the game. And I was like, oh, I can try that one day. And people
favorite challenge? Like that
probably Bloodborne Hitless. Just in general, I like doing Bloodborne Hitless a lot.
Have you ever like made like your own self-imposed like challenge in any of these games? Is that the hit list?
I haven't. No. I haven't on purpose, at least. Like, there's things like I don't go shopping and I don't notice it, and I'm just like, what? And people are just like, that's a shop, you fucking jackass. And I'm like, oh, I beat it, and I just kind of up somewhere go make like a macaroni and cheese. But like, and I do that often. Often. Oh, one of my favorite things that I did.
Want to hit this Bloodborne real quick, and then we're gonna make some cookies.
Yeah, like literally. No, I have a clip of that exact moment. I can't make that up. Yes. I was talking about something and I was getting ready to tell a story because as you can tell, I have like 8,070 stories.
I'm with it. This is gold. I fucking love these.
Yeah, I have so many stories for fucking everything. Funny stories, fucked up stories, the whole gamut. And I'll never forget, I was getting ready to tell a story about how a restaurant I worked at ran out of, it's called Spaghetti's, and there was a magical day where we ran out of pasta. So I was getting ready to tell the story about how Spaghetti's ran out of pasta. And I was like, hang on, let me do this right quick. I walked in, I did a no-hit clear of Father Gascoigne, put my controller down. I was like, okay, so anyway, yeah, I was at Spaghetti's, and I have a clip of that actual moment.
Yeah, because no, you
I have a clip of that actual moment.
You too good. You're too good.
I was just like, okay, so anyway, this is how we ran out of pasta, and people were just like, and it's just like they're used to it at this point. But like, my favorite probably challenge run is Bloodborne Hitless. I really like that. I've also done Dark Souls 3 Soul Level 1.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. So for people who are watching this. So for people who are watching this later, and just to kind of put it out there, Soul Level 1 means that you start at the worst possible class, which gives you a clean slate of a character, and it starts at level 1. And the challenge is that you have to beat the game without leveling. I cleared that. It was fun.
See,
it was fun.
Let me
explain. The reason it's fun isn't because of the challenge itself. The challenge isn't not leveling. The challenge is understanding enough of the game to see how you can set yourself up so you don't have to level. So it's a really big knowledge check, because like, you know how the way that Dark Souls and Bloodborne games work is when you have weapons, it's based on your skill stats. Well, when you start at your base level, those stats are permanent. They stay there. So the challenge isn't, oh God, I have to survive. The challenge is sitting down and saying, what's the most efficient way to increase my damage output without having to level up? And it gets really, really interesting because you have to do things like, because you can still upgrade weapons.
Okay.
You can still upgrade weapons.
So you can use weapons without leveling up.
Correct. And because if you meet the level threshold, then it doesn't matter what level the weapon is. You met the original threshold. When you level it up, that's to increase the damage. And then you can also do things like add elements to your weapons, because certain enemies in the game are weak to certain elements. So like, you can start off with like a dark axe, and then as you progress and you get something else, you can go ahead and grab that and then change it up. You can also still wear armor and accessories. So accessories don't require a whole lot of stats. That's why you have things like Champion Gundir's Chain Link is a perfect example,
Okay.
because he boosts your strength stat. So now you have a higher strength stat, but you haven't leveled up. So like it's a really, really
and that
interesting
higher
kind of
strength stat without leveling up can let you use the weapon
there you
that
go.
matches that stat, and then you can add an elemental to it. Okay, and then you
Correct.
can do things like it might be the wrong game, but you could do things like I know you're talking about like those pellets, but whatever the pellet is in a
Mhm.
Dark Souls game to boost your damage, boost that, boost that.
Yes. Correct.
Okay, I'm here. I'm
See, and
learning.
so like the challenge, while yes, the challenge is beating the game without
But
leveling,
it's a
it
lot of
really
wisdom. It's how to
it,
innovate.
it is a
It's
fuckload of
how do you
knowledge.
adapt and innovate to beat each. Oh, I like
Yeah,
that. Hold
yeah,
on, that
and
might be the
and a lot
wave.
of people, and I think a lot of people think of it as, oh, so you just have to run through and suffer, and it's like, no, it's a really big knowledge check. And then like
Yeah,
with the Bloodborne hitless runs, it's kind of like a knowledge and a competency check, because in hit, no, you got to be confident in that. Like that's
yeah.
straight up, because the game could smell your fear, like straight the fuck up. You thought it could smell your fear before? Nah, if you talk about hitless, it can fucking smell
It's
your
like
ass
somebody's doing a
from
hit list.
miles away. Just like,
Oh,
oh, there's a scared bitch nearby. We should fuck her up. That's what we gonna do. That's what we gonna do. And so like, but it's really interesting, and it's not gonna appeal to you if you're not willing to commit to a game for a lot of time. So anyone who wants to do speed running and challenge running, I highly recommend that you really, really like your game.
yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Okay.
And then secondly, it's just, what was I gonna say? There's a lot of time and commitment. You have to really like the game, and you have to also be willing to accept the fact. This might also be why I want everybody to win. It is a quick way to humble yourself, because you have to accept you are going to hold a lot of L's. You are going to hold a
Oh,
fuckload of L's, because
you got to be
no one
comfortable with
gets
that.
up and said, yeah, no one gets up and says, I want to do a soul level 1 run and gets it right away. That is not how that works.
Right.
Like my Dark Souls 3 file, it may say my soul level 1 run took me 27 hours, but I'm telling you, bro, like it felt like it took me years. It felt
Shit.
like it took me years, because
Shit.
the first half of the game is very kind, because the first half of the game is scaled around you. But when you start getting into late game, you start
Oh,
feeling the squeeze of
yeah.
how
The
limited
walls
you
start
are on
closing.
stuff. Uh-huh.
Shit.
Uh-huh. So you're sitting here trying to fight Soul Ascender, a fight that you may know extremely well, but the thing is now you're fighting against attrition, because Soul Ascender, when I'm 112 with like my favorite bad bitch cape and my favorite fucking dark sword, is a whole different conversation than when
Ninjas.
I'm going to Soul of Cinder and I have to use a sword that I am technically only able to use because of the 2 rings I'm wearing, and I have to use the sword and have to
Huh.
have like certain powders and stuff to put on my weapon to make sure that I can do additional damage. And I have to be on top of it, because the damage output is never going to match what you're accustomed to in a casual playthrough. It is not going to happen. So now you have to be
Interesting.
like, you know the fight well, but do you know it well enough to survive it for 10 minutes? Because you might be there for
Oh,
10 minutes.
yeah. Because now, okay, yeah, you could dodge a pattern in 2-3 minutes, but now you got to do that shit in 10 minutes, and one of them shit's gonna hit. Probability is not that kind.
I talk about probability a lot. A lot of people do not do well with Metroidvanias because they're like, this game cheats. It said 90% chance to hit and it missed. And I'm like, that's because there was
It's a
still a 10%
probability.
chance to
Yeah,
miss.
that's a probability, bro.
That's how probability works.
I was a big Pokemon nerd, so I love probability.
Mhm.
I suck at math, but with Pokemon, I'm like,
I'm a math gay. If
I'm
you
like
need math help, I'm always here.
perfect, because
This is why I yell about probability, because
please.
people are like, we don't understand, because it said it was an 87% chance.
Yeah,
So how
no,
did it miss? And I was like, because it still had a chance to miss. If that number does not say 100, assume that there's still a chance that it will miss.
yeah, see, I suck at math, so like that type of math, I'm like,
Mhm.
ugh. But when it comes to like a Pokemon, I could be like, okay, I need give me a total dial because that's 2.5 this and that's 2.5 effectivity. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me match that with a Bulbasaur. Let me match that with I am. Yeah.
Applying data to games is my passion. Oh, I love that shit so much. So much, which makes sense why I'm a Metroidvania roguelike player, because I'm
Right.
just like, okay, I gotta crank these numbers out right quick. Hang on a second. And then I'm just sitting there like, no, you can't do that. No, no. That's not gonna work the way you want it to. Oh, well, how will this activated? Don't pick that up. Don't pick that up. Your number's gonna be all fucked up. Don't do it. Do not stop. just oh God. But yeah, please don't pick that up. Please do not pick that up. You are gonna fuck your oh God, you picked it up. Your build's fucked up. I'll never forget I did that to Jay in Risk of Rain, because Jay is much more knowledgeable about Risk of Rain than I am.
Right.
And I fucked up the whole fucking game because of this one item I picked up. I was like the tank, so I was in charge of all the healing. And I picked up a fucking purple item that made all my healing go from AoEs to just self-healing. And he was like, oh no, the run's scuffed. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
I didn't know. And he was like, yeah, you don't know what you don't know. And again, that's the attitude that people need to have.
Yes.
You don't know what you don't know. Try stuff. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't.
But learn
you gotta
and
figure out how to
progress from
navigate that shit. I would much rather you fucking make mistakes than be like, I'm so averse to making a mistake that if I do something and I fucking fart wrong, then everything's gonna fall apart. And it's like,
Right.
you're not even gonna know if it's gonna go fall apart because you won't even do that. So, and like,
Right.
so now I know how that mushroom works. I know exactly how it works. And if I play the engineer, I will just never fucking touch it and just call it out and be like, hey, who wants this? Because it's not me.
Yeah. I can't take this.
Bitch, let me tell you. And so like
That's dope.
all of those things, like that's the stuff that I love
That you're passionate about. Yeah.
the most. And like lore dumps and helping people with games. Those are like my favorite things. I'd help people in the wine cellar who said they hate Metroidvanias and roguelikes actually come to the distinct realization that they love them. And I was like, yeah, you probably just hate the community because a lot of the communities are assholes. Like
they don't want to help
people
you
who
for
are just
shit.
very fucking like get good terminology and being weirdos about shit like that and not wanting to be helpful because it always comes back to having to feel like you're superior to someone. And I'm like, bro, we play video games.
Yeah. Relax.
It will never be that serious. Like we play video games. If you're not talking about being esports, if you're not talking about being on stage at Evo, if you're not talking about being on stage at like the Valorant competitions and shit like that,
right.
It's never going to be that deep no matter how much you want it to be.
Right.
And
By most, you're doing games done quick and don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
just don't be a fucking asshole.
Right.
It's that easy, and yet. And fucking yet.
And yeah.
And yet. Yeah, because like, oh my God.
Oh, sometimes
like,
the simplest things, people make it the hardest shit in the world.
I've left whole groups over this shit because like, I used to play Overwatch with people. I had to stop because people got too sweaty. And I'm like, dog, I'm like the sweatiest person on the call. I literally do challenge runs and speed runs. I am as sweaty as they get. It is not that deep.
I'm not an asshole. Right.
It's not that deep. It is never going to be that deep. If we lose the match, we lose the match. We think about what we could have done better and we fucking queue up for the next one. And if you're losing too many times, you know what? Put the controller down, go play something else. Darkest Dungeon starting to piss me off. Because like, I'm at that point right now of Darkest Dungeon. I'm in chapter 3 of Darkest Dungeon 2. And I'm realizing that there's a mechanic that I absolutely cannot stand. So rather than sit here and just being like, blah, 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 and just try, like muscle my way through it, I started asking people who I know have already cleared the game and stuff. I'm like, hey, what the fuck is going on with this chapter, dog?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's chapter 3. And I was like, yeah, it's chapter 3. How'd you know that before I said it?
They're like, we've been there.
Why do you know that before you said it?
I just crawled out of that darkness.
No. And everyone's just like, oh no, everyone's current hated chapter is chapter 3. So you're in good company. And I was like, so it's not just me with the taunts? And they're like, oh no, the taunts are terrible. The taunts are terrible. Here's some strats. Here's some ideas. And to be perfectly honest, you might want to finish the metagame before you even go do it. And I was like, damn, finish the metagame? Like that's so much. And they're like, your life will be easier for it. But everyone agrees that chapter 3 is the worst. And it's because there's mobs that can force taunt. Taunting in Darkest Dungeon means you have to hit that enemy, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
And this enemy in particular has a 75% chance to proc a taunt or a 25% chance to proc a double taunt. So you will not dodge having to do this taunt.
Oh,
it is
you're 100% need to hit this person regardless.
It is impossible to dodge this taunt, and it will literally destroy. It will destroy comps. It happened to me last night on stream. I started a brand new run, fresh off the fucking stagecoach, and I made it all the way to the fight before the final boss, and I wiped because I got taunt locked. And I was like, that is bad. And the community is like, it is.
Have fun.
Right? It's like, it is. It's awful. So people are coming up with strats like using items because you can still throw it at that specific enemy and that counts as the taunt. They're talking about using AoEs, which is what I hypothesized last night. And I was like, you're
Right.
gonna need characters that can hit both like positions 1 and 2 and stuff like that. And like, but that's the part of gaming that I
That you
adore.
love.
Is
Yeah.
that it's that
That's
community
dope.
effort of being like, how do we overcome this thing? How do
Ah,
we do this?
that's
How do we
dope.
do this? And then we all work together and we find a solution. And it's like, all right, we've got the solution. Spread the word. Fuck, patches out. Everyone bring it back
Everyone
in.
bring
We
it back
gotta
in. Yeah,
redo
come on, we
again.
gotta talk.
Shit,
Where's
shit,
the math
shit.
person?
Oh my god, where's the math person? Hey, where's the item guy? Did they change the items in this patch? They didn't. Okay, let's just do some stuff. Let's try some
Yeah.
things. See what happens. It's still fucked up. Okay, the old plan doesn't work anymore. Come back in 20.
Yeah, let's figure some out. Let's disperse. We'll come back. You know, we'll treat this like a Fast and the Furious. We'll disperse. We'll come back. Like,
Right.
we're
We'll be
family.
with you shortly.
Yeah, well, be right back.
We'll be with you very shortly.
We've come into like the end here, and we definitely went over time, and I am so sorry.
No, you're
But
fine.
I
I'm
love
open
this.
all day today until I have to go fuck with Adrian and J-Rock.
Perfect.
Adrian and J-Rock, it's Adrian's birthday, so we let him pick the game, which was mistake number 1. Because I should have known, we should have both known that what he was gonna pick.
I hope
'cause it was what he
Adrian
picked for
watches this.
last.
He don't know nothing about me, but I hope this gets to him.
I'll send it to him. I don't care. I'm petty, like I said. Listen, he was playing Street Fighter last night while I was streaming, and one of my mods was watching him at the same time. I was like, hey, can you tell Adrian I said that he needs to stop getting grappled? Thanks. And he was just like, sis, you're not even watching. How do you know he's getting grappled? And I was like, because I know who you're watching. Tell him to watch his fucking toes and quit fucking hugging people. Those are not hugs. Those are grapples. Those are grapples. Stop it. Get help. You need to get it together.
I love that.
And then like later on, he came back. He was like, I sent the message and he's upset with you. And I was like, good. He's going to be more upset. Tell him I said the nigga's old.
Oh, shit. Come on. You give my man some slack. It's his birthday. Like,
And I'm not even in his channel. I go
Oh,
across
man.
the airwaves. I don't give a fuck. I said what I said. You's old. You're old.
Auntie, why
You're
you doing that?
Adrian ain't shit but 3 years older than me. I can do this all day
Auntie,
long.
why you doing that to him?
No, like I adore Adrian so much. He's like
Nah,
one of my favorite people.
Adrian,
I got to see him again at
he's
St.
such an
Jude.
inspiration for me. Like,
Oh my god,
Adrian, you're the
I got
best,
to see him
man.
again at St. Jude, and I like almost cried because I thought I was gonna miss him, and I saw him because my group was leaving and his group was coming in, and I literally, you'll have to ask him about it. I had to look like a fucking, I had to look like a fucking child in a candy shop because I know that like I'm only 5'3", so like I'm a very high energy, as you can see, high energy, fast talking person. And I saw him and I like immediately was just like jumping in the lobby, and he just looks up and he's like so confused, and he realized that the small jumping multi-haired girl was me, and he's just like, oh, and, oh my god. I have pictures of him and I on my Instagram, and I don't care about anything else. But yes, we are over time.
No, yes.
Over time.
The last two things, because we're gonna get to the last two segments here. And with that, so with being a community manager, being in the gaming industry, but still being a content creator, do you feel limited in certain brands that you want to work with? And what are some brands that you want to work with in the future? What are some charity things you want to do in the future? Like what's next for Pleasantly Twisted, whether it's in gaming industry or content creation?
So gaming industry, I know what game I'm working on, and I unfortunately can't share that. But when that game hits, I want everyone to understand who watches this. I'm going to be a fucking menace. I am going to be insufferable. I am going to be the worst account on Twitter, and I will not apologize for my behavior. I'm not going to do it because I am so excited to run this community. You have no idea.
I'm so hyped.
Yeah, like I'm super hyped. Like when we start pushing things out, I'm ready.
When you start pushing things out, please message me and be like, this was the one. And I'm like, okay.
When it happens, I'm super excited about it. Okay. But then like in terms of content creation, I don't feel limited by anything. As a matter of fact, Crystal Dynamics has been really forthcoming and supportive of a lot of my content creation endeavors.
That's really good.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
they're all about like seeing me shine as a content creator, but also ensuring that I am happy at my work. And that's really nice and really refreshing to see after,
Yes, it is.
existing as a Black queer person where that is definitely not at the forefront.
No. Yeah.
But
No.
like, but
Yeah.
in terms of the next thing, I honestly don't know because I've been kicking that around a little bit because my day job is very demanding. Like I said, I work at Crystal Dynamics, but then I also am a project manager for Games Done Quick. So I do the Black events. I do Unapologetically Black and Fast.
Nice.
And I am doing Juneteenth. Juneteenth is coming up the 17th and the 18th, where it's 2 days of all Black speedrunners. And please watch it. Please support my babies. I need you to pull up for the speedrunners.
I'm in there.
And Noir, if you're watching this, President Noir, get your ass back on that speed run because I want you in one of my showcases. Please and thank you. This is non-negotiable. Appreciate it. So
You heard her.
with all that being said, like, I am like super busy. And so I originally used to stream 3 times a week. I went down to 2 once I got the job.
Okay.
And I think I'm slowly approaching that point where it's no tea, no shade to the community because I love the community and I want to be there for them. But getting into as much as I am, we might have to get away from a scheduled structure and I might just be the fucking filthy bloodborne bitch I was meant to be. Like, I'm straight up being honest about it because I love showcasing new games. I love doing Next Fest. I love showing off indies. Love the indie segment of gaming. Please love indie games more, y'all.
Yes.
Please love indie games more. If you're looking for something new and you need something fresh, go to the indie circuit straight the fuck up. And they're killing it right now. So many good indie games.
I am the firmest believer that the main reason why horror games are even somewhat relevant is because of the indie horror scene. I am an indie horror game fanatic.
Correct.
Fanatic.
The whole thing is correct.
Yes.
Yes, it is correct. The indie scene does a very good job of pushing AAA to its boundaries. It does a very good job of being like, we don't have these limitations, so we're just going to go out here and do the damn thing.
Right.
And it inspires the ones above to be like, hey, see that indie game that did really fucking well?
Right.
What if we did that like we proposed 10 fucking years ago?
Right.
Can we do this now that someone else has done it? Or what's the play? Because we want to get in on this too. And so like all of that stuff, I usually have a super scheduled stream for charity fundraising and then my content. And it's just kind of getting to that point where it may actually be easier for me overall to just kind of become that single, if not 2 or 3 game person. And I already realized that it was like, if I had to do something like that, I know for a fact that I would play Bloodborne. I would be doing hitless runs live. And then I would also probably play, like, I'd go back to Darkest Dungeon 2 and 1. And then probably bounce onto Dead Cells every now and again. Like there would be probably that last slot would rotate between different ones. Like Dead Cells still has a lot of my hours. Like, let me see here. I have Steam up, like I said. Like Binding of Isaac has taken 180 hours of my life. Dead Cells, I think, is still above it. Oh shit! Binding of Isaac's coming in on it. Dead Cells still got 195. Oh fuck, he's gonna get past. Yikes! Yikes! Oh no, I gotta fix that. And then Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon is going to be goated forever. My original Darkest Dungeon 1 has 367 hours on file, and Darkest Dungeon 2 I've already put in 56 hours. So like it will probably rotate between those games with Bloodborne being a primary. But like I've been floating it to the community too, and I was like, would y'all actually be bothered if I just became a Bloodborne streamer? And a lot of the winos are just like, honestly, it's where you're the happiest and you're kind of a badass at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like, and you're kind of a badass at it, and we always are learning something when you play it. So like, I kind of fucks with it actually. So a bunch of winos were like, "Yeah, be the Bloodborne garbage you were meant to be in the world," and I was like, "Yeah, I might. It may happen." So I might get through this final year, or not final year, this year of content because to give people kind of an idea. So, yeah, because no, I sweetheart, I'm a project manager. I am a project manager.
We're organized.
Right. But now I can't type apparently. So games, maybe. I'm trying to find my Google sheet that I have because it has my full schedule.
Oh, the way I got a Google sheet, a Google Doc, a Notion.
Yes, here it is. Okay, so my gaming list. All right, here we go. One of my running gags at the wine cellar is that at the wine cellar we beat games. You can see I have Google Sheets open because now I am bleached. But like I was keeping count, and I decided to do it at one point to just get a head count. As of February of 2023, we have beaten 81 games live.
Jeez.
Yeah, we've rolled credits on 81 games. And my
Nice.
current future plans
I'd be like
is for
3.
the month of June, we're gonna do. Oh, hang on.
Y'all, I'd
This
be
is a
like
wrong.
4
I have to
games.
update it. Yeah. For the month of June, we're doing crowd control and charity fundraising. So please come in, donate to It Gets Better. Watch me suffer at the hands of chat for Cuphead and probably Sonic Mania.
That started now.
Also use crowd
When you
control. It's
start
so
that?
fun.
The
Huh?
charity. The charity started already?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm with you. Because
Yes.
I put
Yes.
the link for the charity in the description below when this goes live. So I'll do
Okay,
that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like July, we've got like a spicy month of Sonic CD and Hagane, which I learned
Ooh.
from ciphering over in the speedrunning community. August, we're playing Time Spinner Randomizer, and I'm very excited about it because I love the Time Spinner Randomizer.
Ooh.
I'm also gonna be playing one of Wino's favorite games and recommendations, Terranigma. And then
Okay.
September is where it kind of took hold. I just have Bloodborne, and I just looked and I was like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do for September, so I'm just gonna play
Gonna do
Bloodborne. I'm just gonna play Bloodborne if that's cool. Anytime I hit that point where I'm like, I don't know what I want to play, and I'm like, well, guess I'm gonna boot up my fucking PS4 real quick.
Yep. Bloodborne.
Yep. Oh no, terrible. October we might do Dead Space because I got the remake.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then November, I think I want to try and
for you for
practice.
October.
Huh?
I might have a challenge for you for October. Let
Oh
me get
my
some time to
God.
think about it, but I might have a challenge because it's a challenge that I've done. I one and only
Ooh.
like ever challenge that I've done, and that is
Ooh.
a no death alien isolation.
Ooh, see, I like no death runs. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Fun fact about that, there's a challenge that I accidentally completed that I
it.
didn't realize.
Uh-oh.
I did is an indie game called Time Spinner. I really enjoy it. It's the one
Okay.
I'm doing a randomizer of. And I platinumed the entire game without dying. And I didn't realize until after I got the platinum. And I was like, do. And I just looked and I was like, I don't think I died. Huh.
I've done that.
And I remember chat again was
once.
just like, oh, you're so frustrating. And I'm like, like literally just a small child in a candy shop going, dee.
I've done a mistaken no death challenge or like challenge once, and that was with when Fallout 3 first came out. I didn't know what VATS was. I didn't know how to use it. So I did a hardest difficulty, no death run, no VATS of Fallout 3, my like first time playing.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. Because I was just
That's
I'm just gonna
hard.
I didn't know what, because like VATS confused me. I didn't know how to like select the body parts and
See,
stuff. So I'm like, I don't know what
you
I'm
understand why I didn't go to that fucking shop then? Like, I didn't have any signposting that said this was a shop. So why the fuck would I just assume that? No, dog, I ain't touching that.
I'm
Vanessa,
like,
that's a shop. Why would I know that?
yeah, and like my friend had to be like, no, dude, this is how you use VATS. You move and it selects the body part and you select it. Cause like I tried to do it and like it wouldn't shoot. And I'm like, man, I'm not doing this. And I just played the game like a regular old shooter, like a regular RPG shooter. And I was just like, okay. And my friend was like, you beat it with no VATS on the hard? I was like, yeah. That's why it's that's why it's here.
Yeah. And then
that's
December.
Why it's right here.
Oh yeah. And then November, I'm gonna teach myself the Klonoa speed run because I love Klonoa. It's dear and near to my heart. Oh my God.
Oh my
when they announced
God,
that Klonoa
yes.
Fantasy, when they announced that the Fantasy Reverie series was coming, I actually cried. Like, I know people hypothetically and like metaphorically cry. When I saw that, like, I remember I was eating a bowl of ramen with bok choy, shiitake mushrooms, and some sliced brisket, but we're trying to not eat red meat, so I can't do that no more. And I remember I was sitting there eating it, and I heard the wahoo, and I was like, why is he here? What's going on? And they announced that they were remastering them and put them on Switch and whatnot, and I literally just cried right there in my ramen. I cried right there. No, Klonoa means so much to me, and there's a lot of like unpacking behind that, but it was one of my favorite PS1 games. And so I was like, we're playing Klonoa live, and everyone in chat was like, she's really gushing about this, and I was like, we're playing Klonoa live. And I played Klonoa live and I beat it, and I was like, we're all gonna cry together and it's gonna be great. And we got to the end, and I of course know what's gonna happen, but chat doesn't. And at the end, as credits are rolling, there's all these people in chat, they're just like, I can't believe you would make me feel my feelings like that.
Oh,
I
no.
can't believe
I
this.
haven't played Klonoa in so long, so I think I might have
Oh,
to retouch it. I think I might
oh my God.
re-hit it up.
Me and a different speedrunner, we got much closer as a result of it because I didn't know that they liked Klonoa. And so like we saw one of our mutuals playing it for the first time and we were both just in chat. And I was just like, I will protect this sweet biscuit with every fiber of my being. And they like saw me say that and was like, wait, PT, what do you mean by that? And I was like, I said what I said. What do you mean by what I mean by that? And they were like, I'm gonna DM you real quick. And they were like, are you talking about Klonoa? And I went to DMs and I was like, I cannot wait for them to get to the end and cry like a little bitch. And they came back and was like, oh my God, are you ready to cry all over again? I was like, yes, I am
Oh, okay.
ready.
I
I
think I'm
am
doing it.
ready.
I think I'm hitting it.
Yes, I am ready to cry. And their name is Amber Cypher. And Amber was
Shout out to
just
you.
like, and Amber was just like, I have never met another person who understands my love for Klonoa. Can we cry
Oh,
together? And I was like, yes, the fuck we
that's
can. And
so
then we got to
nice.
watch, the mutual beat it, and they have like a VTuber avatar, so you know it's always like animated and doing that stuff.
Right.
But like you could physically hear they were trying to hold back the tears, and then like the credits rolled, and then they're just like, that's so sad. I can't. He didn't deserve that. And I was just like, oh, the tears from Klonoa are good every
Oh,
time.
okay. I
It's
think I'm gonna
so
hit that up.
cathartic. So cathartic. God damn it. And Amber and I are just immediately like, did you cry? And they were like, oh God, yeah, I did. And I was
Yeah.
like, I did too. And then immediately behind that, we're like, let's talk about GDQ stuff. And then we're in the background now. We're just like, we know about the games that are gonna make you emotional, that type of thing. So I'm gonna speed run it. And then December is
Nice.
always Chrono December. Chrono December is another one that makes me cry a lot because I didn't play a lot of Nintendo games. We
Right.
had Genesis games. I know I'm making the segment way longer. I'm so sorry. But like,
hey, I'm here. No, I'm
so
here. Yeah, I ain't got
a
nothing to
lot
do.
of people have heard me talk about this on stream. Literally, I grew up playing the Sega Genesis, so I never played a lot of Nintendo stuff. So a lot of my charity incentives have a tendency to be Nintendo things because I've never played them. And I'm
Right.
like, hey, raise enough money and I'll do my first try of it. And
Right.
so, in that same vein, as someone who loves JRPGs, I didn't know how many JRPGs I had missed out because they were on the Nintendo side of things.
Yeah.
And so, one of those JRPGs was Chrono Trigger. And
I
so,
fucks with Chrono Trigger. That's
my second year of streaming, I did my first ever playthrough of Chrono Trigger. I don't give a fuck about you assholes talking about Final Fantasy VI is the GOAT. Truly suck eggs. Chrono Trigger. Are you kidding?
I'm a Chrono Trigger person. I'm a Chrono Trigger person. I am.
God.
So I'm with you on that.
I fucking played it and beat it.
You're not at that
and
ledge
cried.
by yourself. I'm near with you.
Yeah, I played it and beat it and cried like a bitch. And I was like, this game was so fucking good. Holy fuck. Why was this so good back in fucking 1996?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they hit that story running.
I mean, that should have been classified as illegal how good that. Holy.
Especially in 96. Like,
oh my God, on the Super Nintendo.
Right. Getting that story with pixels and polygons is insane. It's insane. It's insane.
I could not believe. I'm sorry, 1995. I thought my year was off. It was 1995. I could not believe how good it was, like front to back.
Yeah.
And so then people were like, do we tell her about the cookies? And I was like, what cookies? Do you notice how, again, the trend is hit? What cookies? I never know when to shut the fuck up. What cookies? And they're like, so what if we told you that there's more than one ending? And I was like, how do I get those? And they're like, oh, you have to beat the game in different time zones, or not time zones, in different time intervals. And I was like, wait, the time mechanic actually changes the ending of the game based on when you beat the. No, we got to get all the endings. We have to do this. We have to run the whole thing back. So I run Chrono December, where I am playing Chrono Trigger every December until I unlock every single ending.
Oh, that's sick. Oh, yes. I'm in there. Oh, that's fire.
Yes. So this year I think we're going to be unlocking ending number 7. And because I started kind of the math gate kind of triggered last year, and I was like, now that I think about it, if I do this correctly, given that I can beat up Lavos as well as I can, I think I can start getting multiple clears back to back in a single month. And chat was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, let's think about this mathematically for a second. If I can beat the Lavos that is in front of ending number 7, there's a pretty strong chance I can beat Lavos that's from endings 2 to 6. Oh, well, not 2. The 2 Lavos is not a fucking game.
Right.
But there's a pretty strong chance I can beat the one that's from 3 to 6. But I also don't need to make a new game to do that. I can literally just go to the 3rd Lavos,
load it back,
get the ending, and then reload the file. And instead of going to Lavos, just keep playing the game. And people were like, did you really just math get the endings of Chrono Trigger? And I was like, hi, I have a master's in data.
We're going to do that.
So yeah, and then I've already been entertaining the idea of once I get all the endings, people were like, so when you get all the endings, what's the next step? And I was like, I'll probably play Chrono Cross because I've never played it.
Okay.
And then after I play Chrono Cross, I will probably be like, but what if we deleted the file and ran Chrono Trigger back? And they were like, you would actually just keep playing it? I was like, I like it that much. Yeah. I like it that much. The only other contender that I have for that is if we finish all the endings in Chrono Trigger, I might move December into Breath of Fire 3 month because that is actually my all-time favorite JRPG.
Okay.
I love Breath of Fire 3. I always talk to me about Breath of Fire 3.
Okay.
So December might go between those two. But yes, these are the things I love. These are things that bring me joy. Much more than like a lot of activations and stuff do in terms of like brands and shit. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, just work with me to play your video games. I fucking love games. Dude, when Sonic Frontiers came out and Sega reached out to me, I fucking sobbed in my car because Sonic is life for me. So like, they're like, yeah, we want you to play Sonic Frontiers and we'll pay you. And I'm like, fuck me up. Fuck me up.
My boy.
Oh, I didn't see it enough. I love it. I'm trying to figure out what Sonic tattoo I want, and I don't know because I need to, like, this whole arm is empty and I want to do a sleeve that's game related.
Yeah, see, I got this one for Spider-Man, so.
Yeah, I can't figure out what the fuck I want. So, but yeah. Like when they reached out to me, I was like, this is it. I've peaked. I've peaked. And then I thought I peaked because Sega reached out to me and paid me to play Sonic Frontiers. They have also sent me some of their limited edition gear from like a clothing company that I can't think of right now, but the hat is behind me on my hat rack and hoodie rack. They also sent me the Lime Crime collaboration with Sonic the Hedgehog. So my hair color right now that's in my profile picture, those are all colors that are Sonic the Hedgehog themed. Oh, so it's literally like Sonic Blue, Tails Orange, Amy Pink, Rouge Purple. Yeah, they sent me all that stuff. They were going to send me some Crocs, but they didn't realize that I don't use Twitter anymore, so I missed out on that. But also they're Crocs. So like, but also it's the principle. Yeah. Like, like they're ugly, but I still want them. So, you know, it's whatever. And so like, I thought that I had peaked. And then when Darkest Dungeon reached out to me and said, we'll pay you to play Darkest Dungeon 2. And I was like, nope, I'm going to cry all over again. I'm a big wet noodle. Like I cry about everything. And like when they reached out to me, I was like, now I've officially peaked because Darkest Dungeon, when they came to pay me, the first Darkest Dungeon stream that I did after 1.0, I cried live because people didn't like understand. And I'm going to cry right now because I'm just, like I said, I'm a wet noodle. And they didn't understand that, like, Darkest Dungeon was how I got started. So 7 years ago, when I was an angry person that was trying to escape her Trump-loving boss, the one that got me to start streaming was Darkest Dungeon.
And it came full circle for you. Oh, you gonna make me tear up? You gonna make me tear? You gonna make me tear? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to get
like,
into the
that's why I keep saying, like, I just want everyone to get that feeling and that joy.
Right. Because that's what winning, this right here is what winning looks like.
Yeah, that's the feeling I want everyone to have. I want everyone to experience that in content creation. I want people to get their favorite devs to reach out to them.
I want to experience that.
Like I want everyone to experience that because it's such a good, fulfilling, and just successful feeling. I want to see like Betty Nix get like the badass makeup activation.
Facts.
I want to see confetti on like every fucking billboard.
Facts.
I want to see fucking Adrian hosting things on Crown Channel.
Facts.
I want to see all of these things. That's in my heart so heavy. So heavy.
I'm holding it. I'm holding it. Okay.
I know.
I'm
I just
with you.
But it's
I'm
in my
with you.
heart heavy.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
And that's the stuff that I care about. And a lot of people have misread me to be someone who like is trying to like scam you or is just always angry. And I'm like, no,
You
I
want people to
need the
win
drunken
so
Buddha.
bad.
I need the drunken Buddha cooking activation to fucking live. I need
Yes.
that. I need to see it. I need to see like
Oh,
brands picking up President Noir. I need to see Sierra Tonin getting W's from Stream Elements. I need to see those things. I want those things. I desire those things. I want to see Leash Capiche getting the fucking hair activation and
yes.
fucking Arby's reaching out to her and be like, fuck yeah, we fuck with you. I want those things. And it's hard to really articulate that amongst the climate and everything that's happening.
Yes. Yes.
It's really hard to get that. So like, yeah, I just want everyone to win.
And people, I think the people that support you, we know that. And that's the main reason of why I love talking to you and I wanted to talk to you, because from teaching me to being able to even have this conversation, like that passion you have, it's not matched. It's unmatched. It's just unmatched, and it's beautiful, and that's joy. Like, enjoy in seeing other people and wanting the best for everybody that you can care about and come across, and I appreciate you for that. Last segment, I'm gonna get you
Okay.
out of here.
Okay.
I call it, because I think a lot of times, and I do this for the last segment because I want people to talk about it and then kind of sit with it for their day. And I call it talk your shit, because so many times we think of, we're in the moment, we're thinking of, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, or this is happening, or we think about past things like this happened, so now I got to do this, I got to do that. But and we're so forward looking. We're like, okay, how do I do this? How do I get to this? How do I get to that? I want you to just take a second and, as confidently, no humbleness at
Oh
all,
no.
as braggadocious as you possibly can, talk your shit about the accolades you have had, no matter what they are, from your start to now, or whatever you can remember. Talk your shit. Give yourself flowers. Give
So
yourself praise.
this
All
is
braggadocious.
something,
Talk your shit.
yeah, like
And I'm going to hype
this
you
is
up.
something I've been trying to work on better because I'm always working, always looking, always trying to do stuff. And I'm trying to be better about congratulating myself.
Yes.
So I'm going to try
I'm going
and
to
we're
hype
going to
you
see
up
how this
to make it
goes.
easier. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like, it is with this year and this job that I realize I am badass at what I do.
Okay.
I am
Talk
actually
about
badass
it.
at what I do.
Talk about it.
Because like I would not have this position if people did not have that faith and did not believe that I was going to bring something good to the team. And I have
Yes.
brought nothing but good stuff to the team. I have brought
100%.
challenges to the team. I have actually forced them to think about things in fashions that they may not have before. I have
Yes.
encouraged that we actually have more open conversations about what does better intersectionality look like.
Talk your
And those
shit.
are things that I did that.
Yes.
Like
Talk
point
your
blank period.
shit.
And there's a conversation to be had
Talk your
about
shit,
how many
Auntie.
people are bitter about that because of the fact that they're like, well, I helped and I did this and I did that. And it's like, you know what? Helping me along the path, I appreciate that. But I want to make it clear I don't owe you a fucking thing.
Ooh, talk your shit.
I don't owe you a fucking thing.
Pleasantly
So
talk your shit.
I'm badass at what I do.
Yes.
I am badass at what I do. And I am actually a good content creator. And
Yes.
I am a good community manager.
Yes.
And all the things that I have done, I know where I stand on things and I know why I do those things. And if people don't want to read that, that is very much a not me problem.
That's on them, because we see it. The people that see it, we see it. Yes.
That's a not me problem. And I'm going to keep doing the shit that I've been doing. I'm going to keep trying to rock out the stuff I've been rocking. I'm going to keep like trying to bring more people in, oh my God, my elbow, please. I'm going to keep trying to bring more people in, to bring more joy, to bring more opportunities, to bring more activation.
Yes.
But I need to be better just in general of reminding myself that I
Congratulate
did
yourself.
this. I
Yes.
did this. When
Charity
I see
streams out
things
the
like
park, runs out the park, point thousands, tens of thousands of followers. Come on, you do this. You do
and
this.
And when I think about that in terms of things like my activations that I've had, like my favorite activations are still the ones I've done with Astro Gaming.
Yes.
And they took the biggest chance on me because they were like, we want you to model our headsets. And I was like, sweetheart, I don't even get my eyebrows done regularly. Like mine, like they looking like little caterpillars right now. I know somebody's gonna be watching and being like, damn, when's the last time she got threaded? Mind your business. So like with all of that said, like they took that chance. And I appreciate that because I'm literally the face of like the last wave of A40s.
Talk about it.
I'm the face
Talk
of the last
about it.
wave of the I'm the face of the newest ones that came out, the A30s.
And she pulled them out. Talk about it. Come on.
Yeah, like,
you flex.
no, like I modeled
Flex
these. Right, I modeled these.
Flex
I
up.
modeled these. So like, what do you? I don't understand why we're still at this point of being weird about shit. I don't get it.
That's a them. That's a them problem.
And that's just it. It's
that's
like,
on them.
And that kind of, and I realize that I've been kind of using that to push myself forward because it's like, again, like I said, I say that often, but I don't internalize it enough. Where it's like, no, actually, that's a you problem.
Yes.
I'm not gonna make myself smaller so that you feel like you are gonna be the top dog. I'm not doing it.
Right.
Like, but I think what makes people the most angry is that I'm willing to actually share the space. And I think that's what pisses people off.
Yo, shit.
That's what
you
pisses people off.
actually take W's and will also share the W.
I think that's what pisses people off the most. Is
a lot of you motherfuckers gotta learn that.
I take my W's, but we keep saying things like high tides raise all ships, but I peep how many of you forget to tell motherfuckers to let up their anchor.
Oh, that's a bar. That's a bar.
I peep that. I peep how many of you forget to tell others to raise their anchor. And you do that on purpose. You do it on purpose. And that sucks because we all could have W's.
Right. The ocean is big enough for all ships to sail. Y'all, the ocean is big enough for all ships to sail.
And you can do all the analogies on it. There's plenty of food on the table. There's enough seats for all of us.
Facts. We can all eat.
So yeah, but these are things that, like I said, that's other people problems.
I love that.
I'm gonna keep doing my thing.
Yes. Talk your shit. Oh, thank you for talking your shit. And more importantly, thank you for talking with me. You know I appreciate you.
Sorry, I'm like reading Twitter at the same time because like I'm now slowly getting into, all right, let me see what fires are around.
Oh no. Oh no.
No, we're doing pretty decent.
Okay.
We're doing all right.
Okay, good. Small little campfire, not a dumpster fire just yet. Got it. Pleasantly. Thank you. Auntie, thank you. You know it. I appreciate you time and time again. Thank you. Thank you for talking with me. Thank you for being vulnerable, being open, and just telling me about your journey and your thoughts on everything. You know I appreciate talking with you. And y'all.
Of course.
Y'all, this has been a legendary conversation with a legend. With a legend. And don't mistake it. Don't mistake it. She is a legend through and through, no matter if it's gaming, content, community managing, activism, whatever you want. But she does it all. And she is so joyful. She's a legend. And this has been another episode of Per-Sception. And all the links will be in the description below. You could find all of her content, all of her socials. Don't be weird. You will get blocked.
No, that's bars though, for real. Like I block bitches. Don't be weird.
Don't be weird.
Don't
you
be
heard
weird.
it.
I block expeditiously and I ask questions later.
I appreciate y'all. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. You can find us both on Twitch. I'm twitch.tv RenaMarq. He is twitch.tv PleasantlyTwstd.
Please don't
And
put vowels in twisted. That's not me. It's TWSTD.
right, right. It is. I have it up there. Y'all see it right up here, spelled correctly, and the links will be in the description below. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all, and I see y'all for the next episode, which will be the finale. Bye.